Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Welcome on this Saturday morning, July 12th, to the 806th episode of Dave's Gone By. With me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. Hello, Joyce. Some people speak in tongues. Some speak foreign. My wife, my wife speaks in sound effects. So, how are you, my dear? Oh, hon, Joyce, did you have a tough week? I know it's so important to laugh about these things. Oh, that's me later. Okay. Yes, indeed.
It was a good week, honey. I'd just be tired.
Yeah, it was a pretty good week overall, if you think about it.
You were upset. Weren't you upset about the...
Oh, I will get into that. Oh, we will talk about that. Oh, here's what's going to happen on this episode of Dave's Gone By. I'm going to run through it fairly quickly, quicker than usual, because we have a guest coming quite soon.
I didn't get your live thing, honey.
I'm live. I saw myself, and then I shrieked and backed away. But yeah, we should be live as we speak on Facebook, as we do every Saturday from 9 until noon or thereabouts, doing the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream. This one being thank you, our 806th episode of the show. We're calling this one in the most politically correct possible way, Jose, Can You See? And we're calling it that. Yes, it's an old joke, but I'm very, very happy and honored and proud to have our guest coming up in just a little bit. He is a playwright and an Oscar-nominated screenwriter. He's also an award-winning playwright, fellow by the name of Jose Rivera. Been writing for like 30-something years at this point. He's had shows done off-Broadway, things like Cloud Tectonics, Marisol, which has been done in every possible college and community theater and regional theater over the years. Plus, he is the guy who wrote the screenplay for a very acclaimed film about Che Guevara called The Motorcycle Diaries, for which Jose Rivera was Oscar nominated. Anyway, the reason we're having him on the show this week, as opposed to the 805 previous weeks that isn't this 6 like freaking you out completely? I'm just looking at it, it's like hypnotic. It's like, woo. So the reason this particular week is that I have the honor, and of course it's all about me, of sharing the screen, if not the stage, with Jose Rivera. Because Jose Rivera wrote a short play called Lunar. In fact, he was commissioned to write this play for the Red Bull Theater Company, an off-Broadway company in New York. So they commissioned him and another playwright, who I guess apparently dropped out, to write 2 short plays that would be part of their annual Short New Play Festival. And then they would get 6 other plays by unknown playwrights, sometimes not so unknown, just other playwrights. It's open to everybody to submit, and they would pick 6 out of all the entries, and it doesn't have to be agent submitted, anyone could do it. So I sent in a play, as I've been telling you week after week, called Restoration Playhouse, because the theme of Red Bull's festival this year is restoration. Each year they choose a different theme for their plays, for all the plays that are in the festival. This year they chose restoration. And the company itself tends to deal with classical plays, classical theater, everything from Shakespeare era to Beaumont and Fletcher to restoration. They don't really go up towards Ibsen and that era, I don't think. I think they're really centered in like the 1700s. Could be wrong. Anywho, so I sent in my play along with 300 other people just across the transom. And wouldn't you know, I was not only a finalist, but a couple of weeks ago they told me that guy won. So my play, Restoration Playhouse, is going to be playing on the same bill as Jose Rivera's new play, Luna. His was commissioned, mine kind of won, as did, remember 2 weeks ago we had Connie Condon on the program. She's another veteran playwright, and I think she did a commission for Red Bull a few years back. This time she submitted one over the transom. She was one of the winners as well. So it should be a lot of fun. I'll tell you about the rehearsal that we had and everything that's going on with the show, but it's going to be Monday night, this Monday night, July 12th, at 7:30 in the evening Eastern Time. Anybody can watch. All you have to do is go to the Red Bull Theater's website. Red Bull, like bull, theater with an ER, redbulltheater.com. There's a banner right on the homepage. You click on the banner. You have to reserve a ticket because they're going to give you a link to watch the live stream, to watch the live show. You can pay whatever you like. You can pay $25 donation, $250 donation, or if you scroll all the way down the page, there is a thing where it says, I'm not ready to donate now, $0, but please send me the link. So if you don't want to pay anything, I mean, we'd rather you did, but you can get free tickets to watch this, no problem, no judgment. We just want people watching the plays. So this is, again, happening Monday night. This Monday night, July 12th, starts at 7:30 in the evening, and we would love dozens and dozens and hundreds of people watching. If you happen to miss the premiere, it's all right. They're going to keep the recording, assuming it comes out. You never know with tech. But assuming that they're able to preserve it and save it, they will keep the stream available, a replay, through the 16th. So if you miss that live show, you'll have 3 more days to see it. But after the 16th, it goes away. After that, it becomes, because of equity rules and the actors who are appearing in it, either for minimal fees or maybe no fees at all. So equity says, all right, it's a pandemic, we'll let you do it, but you can't keep it up there indefinitely. These are the rules. For 3 days, keep it there, and then it's got to go into your vaults, into your archives. And you'll need our permission if you ever want to stream it again for any purpose. So, there you go. So that's all about the Red Bull Theater Festival in general terms, in the fact that I've got a play going in, and our guest in the Daverhood, Jose Rivera, has a play going in as well. 2, not to mention Connie Condon. 3, not to mention all these other playwrights whose plays sound really fun and cool. 7 reasons to tune in Monday night, and a couple of big reasons to stay tuned right now on this episode of Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz. You read my play. What do you think of it? Yes, I think it's really, really funny. Really, really funny. What do you usually think of my plays? Oh, I thought she'd do the toilet flushing noise or something like that.
The topic.
That's the kind of humor that I do. Oh my goodness! Let me go real quick because I want to just remind you that we do these shows, Dave's Gone By. Since the very first episode, we've been sponsored by Hewlett Minuteman Press, the copy kings of Broadway. We're talking about theater, but this is Broadway in Hewlett, New York. So since the mid-1970s, this Torong family has owned and operated the franchise of Minuteman that is in the heart of Hewlett, Long Island. Since we have Jose Rivera, who is going to be with us in just a moment or two. He's actually in the waiting room, which is wonderful. Thank you, Jose, for tuning in just on time. Let's do R. R for Rivera. These are the things just of the letter R that Hewlett Minuteman Press can do for you. Raffle tickets, raised letter printing, reception cards, bunches of things that they recycle or they sell that have been recycled, reports and report covers, response cards, resume services, ribbons, Rolodex cards, and rubber stamps. So, if you're like me in your rubber room and you need a rubber stamp, Hewlett Minuteman Press is the place to go. And if you tell them Dave sent you get 10% off any job, big or small. Now, these guys were open all through the pandemic. For a while, you couldn't really walk in there. You did everything either outside or you called it in, and it was done digitally and stuff. But they did shipping, they did packaging, because the government saw them as an essential service. They never actually closed down. And now they're back full-time, full with whatever you need. Hewlett Minuteman Press, 516-569-5577, area code 516-569-5577, Hewlett Minuteman Press. They are the copy kings. I also want to tell you that really quickly, what's happening on the rest of the show. Our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we will be going to La Junta, important that I pronounce it right, La Junta, Colorado. We'll have Greeley Crimes and Old Times, of course, and we will have our Today, Yesterday quiz, which is going to have an interesting cast today, because David Stuart, he's going off, he's vacationing, so we've got Leslie Hoban. Yeah, it's anybody's game. Leslie Hoban Blake, and return one-time champion Vicki Quade, and a man returning to play the game for the first time since his appearance on the show, actor Stuart Zagnit. They will be our players in the Today, Yesterday game, live on this Saturday, July 10th. So speaking of Stuart Zagnit, let me play his intro, just because I'm not going to be doing the interview with Jose Rivera. The honors of that will go to the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Saul Solomon. So the next voice you hear, besides Stuart Zagnit's, is going to be really, really Jewish.
I've given you sunlight, I've given you rain. Looks like you're not happy. Let's have been a thing. I'll give you a few drops, if that'll appease. Now please, oh please, grow for me.
Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons and Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I am thrilled and delighted because we have a guest in the Daverhood, a guest who I'm going to ask to unmute so that we can hear you and not just me, because everybody listens to me way too much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a writer, we have an esteemed veteran and distinguished playwright and screenwriter in our midst. And if you've ever had someone in your midst, you know how painful that can be. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the man who is an Oscar nominee for writing the screenplay to a film called The Motorcycle Diaries. It's about Che Guevara. I call him Che Guevara. That's just my personal choice. He is, by the way, the very first Puerto Rican person ever nominated for an Oscar. So mazel tov on that. He also won Obie Awards for plays like Marisol, and the wonderful title here, References to Salvador Dali, Make Me Hot, which was performed at the public. And they actually, Chagall does it for me. Those flying lovers and they kiss in the air. Oh boy, get me the Kleenex. But don't. But anywho, he has also written for TV. He's had plays done at Playwrights Horizons and the Umanga Festival in Louisville. He even wrote for the television program Different Strokes. Oh my gosh, I am stroking myself with joy. No, wait, I should rephrase that. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you please bid an hola to Jose Rivera. Shalom and hola, Jose.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, and shalom to you. How are you doing on this fine Shabbos Saturday morning?
I'm doing good. Trying to stay cool, like everyone else.
I guess it's true. So, but you're having a nice hot summer because one of your plays, I'm going to mention this over and over and over because, of course, the host and producer of this play has a one act in the same festival. On Monday night, your show Lunar is going to be part of the Short New Play Festival at Red Bull Theater Company. So I'm going to start right there and say, you were commissioned to write the play. They said months ago, okay, Jose, We want to play from you. We know you can do it. Our topic is restoration. Did you panic? Did you just shrug your shoulders and say, oh, here's an assignment? And how did you go from, oh, I have to do something to, here's what I'm doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, my dad was a janitor and a gardener and a taxi driver, and so I grew up with a real working class kind of work ethic, which is you have a job, you do it, you don't fuss about it, you get it done. And this commission was sort of like the same thing. I gave myself a certain amount of time to finish the script, and I always view writing as a form of just labor, as opposed to like mystical. It's not a mystical, magical thing that you do. It's work. It's hard work, and it's good work, and that's how I.
You should read some of the stuff I've written. And but it's funny that you mention that writing is just work and not magic, because you are quote fairly or unfairly known in your plays for magic realism, or as you prefer the term, mad realism. So we'll get to that too. But I'm sorry, you were continue. So you knew you had to do the work of writing a play.
And and I really like that theme of restoration. And I think, considering what we've just gone through with COVID and Trump and all that, it feels like, it's a time to kind of restore our humanity, restore our sense of purpose, restore our sense of wonder, at the universe and beauty and things like that. So, I had this experience years ago of, there was a lunar eclipse that was visible in New York City. And I went out to, I was living in East Village, and I went out to Tompkins Square Park and sat in the basketball court and watched the lunar eclipse with a lot of strangers. And it was kind of a beautiful moment because we didn't know each other, but we all had the same kind of reactions of, when the clouds covered the moon, we were all angry and pissed off. And then when the clouds parted and we saw the eclipse, we were all kind of awestruck. And that experience always stayed with me. So I wrote this play based on that experience. And, the play is about 5 friends who live in Bed-Stuy, and they're 2 Black kids, one white girl, 2 Latino kids, and they're all friends and really close friends. And they come together to watch the eclipse. And it kind of, the play restores their sense of wonder, because they're kind of, they're poor, they're marginalized, they struggle with just survival. And the 2 things they have is they have intense love for each other. There's a lot of hugging in the play, a lot of play fighting, a lot of, making fun of each other in a nice way. And they have this sense of awe and beauty. And both those things are restored.
Now, when you were writing this, though, you knew that this play would be done like all the others, virtually on Zoom and little boxes on the screen. So you're saying that, that unlike the Seinfeld thing, there is hugging, there is touching, but how are you conveying it, or is there a narrator going, they hug, they touch?
Yeah, there will be somebody reading stage directions. So like when they play fights, which they do a lot of, that will be read. But the actors themselves are so good that they will actually be doing some physicalizations of it, even though they can't touch. You'll get the idea.
And are they all are they playing age? I mean, do you have kids, or are you older playing younger, or what?
Yeah. The roles are written for teenagers, but it's intended that they be played by adults.
Oh,
yeah.
So it element.
Yeah, it heightens the theatricality of it. It gives it makes it already a slightly unreal experience. And so, we have actors, probably they're all in the, I would think, early 30s.
Right. Yeah.
20s, 30s.
I mean, there's a pool of actors who are all appearing in the different plays. So probably 1 or 2 of yours are in 1 or 2, and David Lefkowitz's play, Restoration Playhouse. You'll see them, and they're playing something in yours, and then they're playing something in his. Actors are amazing that way. I like.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I know one of them pretty well, a good friend, and I know she's in 4 plays, and she has to be a Cockney girl in 1 play, and then a theater critic in another, and then inner city kid in my play.
Excellent. And you were at the rehearsal, I assume, either Thursday or Friday. It went well. You were. Did you fail? Were you like, they got it, or were you like, they'll get it?
Well, it's unfortunately a very fast process. I think it would be nicer if there were more time to rehearse. But I thought for a cold reading for the first time, they did beautifully. And then they did it again, and they were even better the second time.
Yeah. And then they'll have tech. They still have a Monday afternoon. How would I know this? I don't know. Dave tells me things.
You're a theater guy. At heart, you're a theater guy.
This is true. I've done Shalom, damn it. You've done dozens of plays and things. Did you know when you were a little tchotchke, a little child, that you would be a writer?
It's funny. I was always writing, but I didn't know there was a profession called writing. And at one point, you know how you always want to be better than your dad? It's just sort of a thing that I'm an eldest son. And so my father used to drive a taxi. So I thought, when I grow up, I'm going to drive a bus because a bus is bigger than a taxi. So that was my ambition for a long time. I didn't know what writing was. I just did it instinctively. And I came from a family of storytellers. My mom and my grandparents stood around the kitchen table for hours and just tell wonderful stories. So I never took a writing class, but I learned everything I know about storytelling from those experiences.
I mean, back when you were a kid, didn't you study under Gabriel Garcia Marquez?
I did. I took a 2-week workshop with Gabriel Garcia Marquez at Sundance, exactly. Though he's not he's passed away, unfortunately, but he was never a teacher. He would admit it. He would say, look, I'm not a teacher. I can just tell you how I do it and what I do. And that was the best education possible.
Well, what did you glean from being non-taught by him?
Yeah, well, he said something very interesting. I mean, his early work was in journalism. And so he says he would approach writing a novel the way a journalist would approach writing an article, which is he could verify everything, he can prove everything, and everything that happens in his novels happened. And so he would say there isn't a single metaphoric word in his novels. And then we would point out, well, what about the girl who floats up to heaven? What about, these magical events? And he would say, well, I heard about it. And so I put it in the book and, someone told me it happened. So it was good enough for me.
It's sort of like the Dionne Warwick kind of writing. It's like, if I say there's psychic possibility, or you prove me that there isn't. And if you can't prove that it isn't, it is. That's Talmudic logic right there, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking with playwright Jose Rivera. Now, you're American for sure. You identify as Puerto Rican, but you moved when were you 4 years old?
Yeah, about 4. Yeah.
What do you remember about Puerto Rico, if anything?
Yeah, not a lot. I remember lying in a little bed surrounded by a mosquito net and watching a spider crawling across the top of the bed, right over my head. And I remember thinking, I hope that doesn't fall on me or fall on my mouth.
That's a fun memory. Anything else you remember about Puerto Rico?
It's Puerto Rico, and it's sort of like there's so many animals. I remember, coming across a centipede on the ground and a dead calf. I mean, we grew up in a countryside, so that was the kind of memory I had.
Were you happy to get out?
Well, it's funny. I know. I thought it was beautiful, a lovely. I mean, what did I know? I was 4, but it did fill me with a love of nature, and a feeling of a connection to nature, and that really helped. And we moved out to Long Island and this was in the 60s, and the island itself back then was still forested. There was still peach orchards, and we had a dirt road in front of our house, and so it was a kind of a replica of Puerto Rico for us.
Well, I hope there weren't dead calves in the middle of the road there, but the occasional centipede you would find.
Yes. I remember salamanders and blue jays and stuff like that.
Blue jays we still got. Salamanders not so much, unfortunately. But bunnies, sometimes the occasional turtle will get a new now and again, or an old new.
Yeah. Are you in Long Island?
Yes, lovely Great Neck, Long Island, which is where my temple is. Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck. Yes, we have a very small congregation, but they're tremendously angry. So we're talking with Jose Rivera. So let me ask you, in that moment that you went from being not realizing that writing could be a profession / vocation as opposed to a wonderful hobby, what was the first thing that you wrote as a writer.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote a play in high school that we produced. I directed it and produced it with some friends. We put it on in the theater at the high school, and that gave me a taste of something that I had never lost, which is this love of having this communal experience with an audience, and having a bunch of people reacting to something this group of actors is doing. And that kind of energy between the audience and the performers just became sort of infectious. And I kept writing plays, and I wrote 4 plays in college.
But you weren't, were you in a program for college writing or taking elective courses, or what was your major? What were you actually studying?
Yeah, I was a major in English and theater.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but there were no playwriting classes, and I just did this on my own. And I raised money, and I put up the plays, and I directed them, and I had really virtually no support from the theater department. And sort of
nice. What theater was? What college did you go to?
Denison University in Granville, Ohio.
See, this is why nobody has heard of it. They have going to be an Oscar-winning writer there, and it's like, we're in a theater department, but we don't really do theater. We're not really interested in actually doing theater. No, it was very funny because when Dave was going to New York University years and years ago, there was a schism, there was a split between the writing department and like the circle in the square, the acting program, and you couldn't use the actors in that program, in the acting school of NYU, to be in your little plays and screenplays and your short films and stuff. It's like, oh, don't touch them. They're in an incubator. They can't appear in anything while they're in school. Once they graduate, go ahead. And it was just really stupid to me, to Dave. Not to me, to Dave. I find everything stupid. I'm sorry, I'm running long here. But Denison did you well on some other level. I mean, it must have given you a literature. Yeah.
Well, first thing it did, it got me out of Long Island. So
fair enough.
Yeah, and no, it was a good school. I received a very good education. It's just that they didn't teach me to write. I learned that on my own. But I did and Denison is actually proud of this. That they feel that they're the first step in a lifelong journey of learning, and that they inspire you to that journey. And I would say that's true.
Now, can I ask you, have you ever looked back at the play you wrote in high school, or the 4 shows you wrote in college? You kept them, I'm sure, somewhere in a drawer. Have you ever, do you dread, or do you think, that this could still work if I revise it a little?
Well, it's funny. I actually reread part of an old play, and that I wrote. God, I must have been 18, 19 years old. And I thought, oh my God, I was a pretentious little guy back then.
All young writers are. They absolutely are. Some of the old writers do. But yes, it's true. So do you have, this is so unfair, this is a terrible question, but a favorite play, a play that you are most proud of your own?
Yeah, I would say of the plays, I would say references to Salvador Dali make me hot. I'm very proud of that play because it's technically ambitious. It's emotionally ambitious. It's political, and I think it's one of the few times where I had a series of goals and I hit all of them in the same play. And so I'm very proud of that play. I'm proud of them all. They're all my children.
Since you mentioned that particular one, what I'm curious about is while you were writing it, you were going through marital issues, and I think it led eventually to a divorce or something like that.
That's correct. Yes.
So was it cathartic to everybody says, you wrote through it and you had a catharsis by writing it out and getting it out of your system? Or it doesn't work like that. You end up writing it and you're still stewing over all the shit.
Yeah, you kind of are. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was good to write it because it helped me work out some issues, and I didn't want to write a divorce play. I wanted to cleverly disguise it and make it a metaphor. It was helpful to actually sort of put the issues down in black and white. And, I always tell, because whenever I teach writing myself, I tell writers that, writing is a great way to tame the chaos in your mind, to give it a structure, to put it in letters. And that is very helpful therapeutically, and it did some of that for me. I would say.
Now, I have to ask, since we were going through this rapprochement with the missus at the time, did she ever see the play? Did she read the play? Or did you sit there when she was in the audience and go, oh, I don't want her to see this passage?
Yeah. No, she didn't see the play. We were pretty far along by the time I wrote the play. I don't think she may have read it somewhere along the line, but I don't think she ever saw it.
Now, are you remarried? I know you have kids. What is your situation there?
Yeah. Well, I'm a two-time loser in the sense that I'm twice married, twice divorced. So yeah, but I do have two great kids, who are in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're awesome people.
Are they all in writing, art, entertainment, or are they driving cabs that are bigger than the ones that your father did?
Yeah, they're writing. Their movies actually win Oscars. No, they're both academics. My daughter's.
I feel very sorry for you. That's
professor. Yeah,
show us so ashamed. Yes, no, the teachers said this is great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're so damn smart. They just kill me. I love watching how their minds work. And yeah, my son is getting a PhD in San Diego. My daughter teaches writing in college in Utah.
Oh, McMazel, that's it. Congratulations. I mean, that's wonderful. Now we're talking about I'm hitting on this your wife not seeing the play and because she might have a certain reaction. There's a story you told in another interview about an audience member's reaction to what might be your best known play. Is either not Cloud Tectonics, the other one called Marisol, which was done all over the place in the early and mid 1990s. But the best/worst review you ever got was when an audience member came up to you at intermission, and what happened?
So I was standing in the lobby talking to the director, and this man, this kind of elderly man, came up to us. I don't think he knew who we were. Maybe he did. And he came up to us in a fury. He goes, "I can't believe I missed the Big Bang Theory for this shit." And then he stormed out of the theater.
Now, did you have a laugh over it? Were you like Bialystock going, "Oh, yeah, we're cleaning up tonight"?
I think we were both kind of stunned at his chutzpah at that moment, and
Ooh, good word. And you can, by the way, you did, because you're Spanish, you can do the ch sound.
Yes.
Can you just do it? Can you say chutzpah again? I love to hear it.
No, okay.
Do it right.
That's correct. Chutzpah. Right.
Jose Rivera, ladies and gentlemen, saying the word chutzpah. So, but how do you deal also with, like, do you read reviews? Do you read them when the show opens, or do you wait until it closes, or you just, I don't want to know, I'm happy the show is done, screw the critics?
Yeah, I used to read the reviews because I wanted to know, because the reviews affect audiences and affect how they enter the theater. If they enter in a bad mood or with an attitude, you want to know that. But I stopped reading them after a while. There's just so many bad ones. I think the worst experience, one of the worst, was I had a play at the Public Theater called School of the Americas. And the play opened, my children were in town. They saw the play with me on opening night. And then we were reading, the three of us were reading the reviews together in the New York Times. It was a terrible review, terrible. And it was bad enough to get the bad review. What was worse was the look of pity on my children's faces. I'm like, oh, they hurt my daddy so much. And so that was tough. And I stopped reading after that.
Yeah, why would you? No, but at least now your children knew they didn't have to actually be Oscar nominated. Now they could just be considered. Right. Not nominated, not winning, but considered. That's a terrible morning of bagels and coffee and to have to do, or whatever, if it came out on a, whatever night that came out, the review came out.
Yeah.
So, have you ever been influenced, though, by a review? Like, if you've opened the show, you read the review later on, and then you change something, because, the critic's not one particular critic, maybe, but a consensus was like, oh, they're kind of right.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble with reviews is they have a hard time separating performance from text. So a performance or a production may be flawed, but they don't know where to place the blame, so they place it right on the playwright. No, I don't know. That's a really good question. I'll have to think about that. I mean, when I was reading reviews, I was I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn what someone else knew, something that they were seeing I wasn't seeing. And there were times when I did learn something.
All right, this is good. So, I had a beautiful, magnificent question, and it just flew out of my head. What's wrong with me? Damn it! I'll think of it in a moment. So, have you gone through workshop hell? Have you had plays that you thought you write it, you have a really good first draft, but you don't get a production opportunity, so you take a workshop opportunity, and then a reading and a development, and then it's just like, right? How do you get through that?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. The one good thing about that process is that it does make the community, the professional theater community, aware of your work. So it does in some ways, and if it's a good play, it creates a certain amount of buzz around the play, and that can sometimes lead to a production. But the worst part is sort of like always being the bridesmaid. I mean, workshop after workshop, and then never getting on the main stage, never getting a full production. That definitely happens to plays.
Actually, here's a loaded question that I didn't think of, but I'm thinking of now, and forgive me for asking it. But do you think that, because you've had plays off-Broadway, college theater everywhere, lots of regional, et cetera, and so forth. I don't think you have ever been on Broadway. Do you think now you might have a quote-unquote better shot because maybe people shied away from a name like Jose Rivera 10, 20, 30 years ago, but now maybe it's like, oh my God, no more white people, let's get Jose Rivera on.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I think I never cared for Broadway per se. It was not an ambition of mine. I just wanted to write strong work. But now that I'm older, I do think, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I have that experience? And not that I write more commercial plays now, but I do think of wanting that level of success, whereas before I didn't care really, but now I do, and I think it's just sort of being older and wanting to leave a legacy and that kind of thing. And no, it would be nice. I would welcome the opportunity.
Well, speaking of success, there was that moment you had your not just theater moment, but that Hollywood moment when you got the gig to write the Motorcycle Diary, right? It was very well received. I don't know if you read the reviews on that, but a lot of critics thought it was an important piece. And you were Oscar nominated. Did you feel at that moment, okay, they're going to give me the next Marvel superhero movie? I mean,
yeah, no, I knew I would never get that kind of movie. No, but it all came. It's such a shock because this, being a screenwriter is a strange profession. For 14 years, I wrote a screenplay a year, at least one screenplay every year, and none of them ever got made. For 14 straight years. And so I thought, well, that's screenwriting life. You write and no one ever sees it.
Were they optioned and just not made? Or
yeah.
Not? Oh, okay, yeah.
They were optioned, or I was hired to write a screenplay, or I was hired to do a rewrite of a screenplay, that kind of thing. They were assignments. And, but I was writing plays, thankfully, that were being produced. So I was at least happy on that score. But, I kind of was resigned to never having a film produced. And then I wrote the Motorcycle Diaries, and I was working with Walter Salles, the great Brazilian director. And, he was very inspiring. And I found my best screenplay. And lo and behold, it got produced. And it was a shock to me. I remember the day Walter told me we're making the movie. And I said, with actors? The camera?
A Zoom movie. There'll be a narrator, someone reading the stage directions of the screenplay, and there'll be a one night only. But we'll rerun it for 3 days on what was Arts and Entertainment Channel or something. Puzzle, of course. So the joy of it wasn't even probably the Oscar. It was just, oh my God, I've got a movie with my name on it.
Yeah, no, it was shocking. And Walter, who didn't really work in the American film system, was much more open to having the writer be part of the process. So I went to Argentina with Walter. We rehearsed the screenplay with the actors. I was part of his post-production process. So I sat in the editing room with him, and, it was great. Most writers never get that experience.
No, they were, even though David Mamet kind of resigns himself. Once it's out of my hands, they'll get other writers to pile onto it. They'll cut, they'll chop. They may ask my opinion on a line, but I'm taking my $1 million and just I'm going to write a play now. Write some conservative stuff or what have you. So, but also, I have to ask, because you also wrote for television. You've done television scripts, and you wrote for Different Strokes. Tell me, what was Conrad Bain really like?
Conrad Bain was a sweet guy. He was a real gentleman. Yeah. And you can tell that he was sort of tolerating being on that show, and that, he was doing it for the cash. But yeah, I mean, the backstory on that is that I was hired by Norman Lear to work on a TV series that he was developing called AKA Pablo.
Oh yeah, that was on the air. They did that one, yeah.
Yeah, so I was hired as a staff writer. I was the only Latino on the staff, and the show I think it lasted one season. But I had signed a 3-year contract with Norman's company, Embassy. And so there I was collecting a salary, and I wasn't doing anything. So they stuck me on Different Strokes in order to sort of justify.
Norman Lear gave the world Different Strokes? And I used to be so proud of him. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think he developed, it came from his company.
Wow. So, all right, tell me, is there a Gary Coleman story? Do you have any memories of Gary Coleman?
There is one, which is kind of icky.
He's dead. Tell it.
So anyway, you know the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You've heard of the Make-A-Wish? Yes. So
they never come true. I apply every year. I get nothing.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe this is your year. So there was a little boy in Wisconsin who had a brain tumor. Through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, his one wish was to meet Gary Coleman. So they flew him out to LA, and he was in the studio audience during shooting one of the episodes. And all the producers were kind of scared of Gary. So they didn't want to tell Gary about this kid, so they made me do it. So I went into Gary's dressing room. I said, Gary, there's a kid out here in the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He has a brain tumor, and his one wish is to meet you. And Gary was doing his makeup. He turned to me and goes, so what? And I'm like, oh, shit. So I kind of turned around. I went to the producers, and they said, what did Gary say? I said, what do you think he said? He said, so what? And I thought, oh, how devastating. But after the screening, the audience was leaving, and he runs out to the audience. He goes, where's the kid? Where's the kid? Where's the kid? And so he was super nice. They chatted for a while, and it was all fine. Gary could just be grumpy,
I get it. I mean, if I looked like Gary Coleman, I'd be grumpy. Actually, I do look like Gary Coleman. That's why I'm grumpy all the time, goddammit. Now everything makes sense. See, I like that. It's a story that seems sour but turns sweet at the end. Because people are like that. It's like, leave me alone. And then after the days, he doesn't have to worry about anything. It's like, come on, bring the kid out. See, overall, he's a mensch. I like this story a lot.
Yeah, no, I think too, because I caught him right before the show. I think he was still memorizing his lines. He didn't want to be bothered. But when the show was over and all the pressure was gone, he became a nice person.
Now, you seem like someone who doesn't really deal, thank God, doesn't happen, deal with writer's block. But do you ever get into that situation? I've written so many plays. There's millions of plays written. I see plays, and I have nothing. There's nothing to write about. Do you ever get into that? When the white page syndrome? Yeah,
I mean, I sometimes know I don't have it. So I'll wake up in the morning and I'll think about writing, and I go, you know what? It's not there today. I don't have it today. Whatever that is, I can't hit the fastball today, And so I just do something else. I'll read, I'll take a walk, I'll go running, I'll do something else to just get some inspiration. Because it's sort of like the gas tank is empty.
But you do kind of make sure that you write a certain amount of, especially if you're on deadline, a certain amount of hours every week instead of, so one day you miss, you'll do 3-4 hours the next instead of 2 or whatever it is.
Basically, yeah. Some writers like to do it by pages. They want to write 10 pages a day, whatever it is. No, I do it by time. I hit for 4 to 6 hours a day. That's it.
Wow. And how much do you have to put into the business of being a playwright and screenwriter? It's love. You set aside hours. You go into your world. You create your characters. But then it's like, all right, gotta call the agent. Did I get this check? Did I do this? Or what do I apply for? Who's looking for my plays?
Right. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of that kind of thing that has to get done, because the plays don't market themselves. They don't sell themselves. I mean, luckily I have a manager who's been my manager for 30 some odd years, and he's fantastic, and he knows my taste, and he doesn't waste my time, and he's very honest with me. If something isn't going to happen, he goes, Jose, they don't want you. I'm like, great. And now I know.
It saves your agony. It does.
Yeah, it does. He doesn't bullshit me. He doesn't, so no, there's a lot to do. Some of it is fun, some of it is tedious. There's a lot of meetings. I personally hate pitching, but luckily now I'm further along in my career. I do less and less of it because people know they want me, and they'll hire me without having to pitch things, and that's a relief.
But is there the other side of the coin, especially with TV and film? Yes, you have a name. Dave, the producer of this program, was talking to weeks ago John Pielmeyer, who is a notable playwright and certainly a screenwriter and TV writer. And it was kind of he's great. He just gets things constantly to write for Hallmark. But other writers, they hit a certain age, and now they're looking for the kids coming out of Harvard. They're looking for the Ivy kids to write the sitcoms, and they're looking for so-and-so coming. So do you get any of that ageism since you're at an age?
Yes, thank you for that question. Well, here's the terrible little secret. I think there's much more ageism in the theater than there is in TV and film. I find that the theater is always looking for the next kid out of Yale, the next kid out of Juilliard, and that the theater artistic directors want to hang out with the cool 30-year-old kids, and veterans like me have a harder time, I think, getting our plays produced. And I can name you several writers in that condition. Ironically, I started to work much more after the age of 50 in Hollywood. I've got more work now than I've ever had before, and I'm 66. So it's.
Hold on, I'm getting a pen. Who's your agent? I give them a call, and I even have look. I have my dignity pen from the funeral parlor, so it's a good one. Look at that. Yes. So that's the name of the phone. You'll give it to me later. But,
yeah. Good guy. His name is Rick Berg. Great guy.
Oh, put a word for me. Okay, Rick Berg. I am actually writing this down because I'm desperate. But anywho, we have been having a wonderful chat. I'm going to ask one last question of Jose Rivera here in the Daverhood. I want to remind people of a couple of things. First of all, please watch on Monday evening, 7:30 in the evening, on the Red Bull Theater Company website, redbulltheater.com, and that's theater ER, redbulltheater.com. You can click the tickets. It's a benefit, so please donate, but you don't have to. If you scroll down the page, you can be a cheap son of a bitch like me, pay nothing for tickets, and still reserve to see the live show of Jose Rivera's new play. It's called Lunar, and it sounds really, really wonderful. It's these 6 friends, and they're friends for a long time, and there's hugging and touching, no nudity, unfortunately, but there's hugging and touching in a verbal way that you can watch. Plus, you'll see Dave's play, Restoration Playhouse. It's hilarious. You'll love it.
By the way, it's a really good play. I read his play. It's excellent.
Oh, my God. Oh, I'm blushing. Give it to your agent, goddammit. What are you telling me for? Seriously. I'm sorry. And if you miss, though, if you miss on Monday night, they're going to replay. You can reserve the stream up through the 16th of July. You can still donate. You can still watch. So go, please do so. Now, also, Jose Rivera, where can people see something that you've written either for TV or film, or is there a regional production of something you're doing now that they're opening theaters again?
Yes, I mean, there's going to be a regional production at Trinity Rep, in Providence, of a play of mine called Sueño, which is an adaptation of the Calderon play Life is a Dream.
And I'm sorry, where was that again?
It's Trinity Rep.
Oh, in Rhode Island, right?
Yep. In Providence. Yep.
And is it in July or August or when?
It's actually probably a year from now.
Oh, okay. So we're talking. I'm talking like over the next couple of weeks. Is there other places?
No, not really. I mean, there's several Zoom productions through colleges, but the theater is just gearing up now. I mean, it's going to take a while for people to get on stage.
Sure. Well, yeah. Sorry.
Well, I
Please.
was going to say this last year. I wrote an episode of a TV series on Showtime, and oh my God, I'm blanking on the name. It's
Different strokes.
no, not Different Strokes. It's anyway, but yeah, it was It's called City of Angels, and it's just a wonderful sort of like 1930s noir kind of set in LA, but there are these demons and literally Nazis are in the series.
Because you had me with the word Nazi. Anything Jewish Holocaust, bring it right to me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that in the 30s, the American Nazi Party was quite active in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah,
they literally had parades.
They had a rally in Madison Square Garden in New York too.
Huge rally, exactly. So anyway, this series deals with that period of LA history. So that's a recent piece.
And it's available on Showtime for Showtime subscribers. This is great. So, folks, Jose Rivera. Last really quick question, because I know you have to go. We'd love you to come and stay and play the trivia game with Dave, but I know you have to go. But you wrote a play called God Stuff, and I have to know. I'm a rabbi. What the hell? What was that about? Is that God?
It's a short play, and so God has created all these animals, rabbits, and they're lovely. God's very happy with them, but he realizes that none of them appreciate beauty. And that's why he creates man. He creates man at the end of the play so that men and women can watch a sunset and go, "Oh my God, that's beautiful." And so
I want to read this. Is there a place where people can read your work, like a download? I mean, I know it's copyright stuff, but is there a repository or a website for you?
I mean, I've got a publisher who's published, a dozen of my plays, Broadway Play Publishing Company. That would be the best location.
Broadway play publishing.
Yeah.
And also, not just reading, but going to see either Monday night from Red Bull Theater Company or a year from now in Trinity Rep, where all these colleges are doing work by this delightful and talented man, Jose Rivera. It just remains for me to thank you so much. Wait, I've forgotten the Spanish word for thank you. Gracias. Muchas. Wait, hold on. I got mucus gracias. Muchas gracias to Jose Rivera. Much continued success and more writing, please, from you. Thank you for being with us.
It's great to meet you.
Shalom to you.
Adios.
Oh, Jose Rivera. Oh, Jose Can You See is the name of this program. And you know who you'll be seeing in about 30 seconds? Dave, the host of this program. Dave's Gone By, talking with Vicki, Quade, and Stuart Zagnit. Coming up in momentarily. You can do a countdown. I'll count down for you. Here we go. Achat, shtayim, shalosh, yes. Good. I will send him. Yeah, I will do this. All right. Oh, hello, and welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Dave's Gone By. We have Vicki, Quade standing by just for a moment. Vicki, you're on mute, which is fine, but I have to still send a link. I guess I can unmute that. Oh, there you are. You're unmuted. Yay! So, hey, Vicki. I forgot, or is that? No, I thought I did here. Or maybe this last time. I didn't send it. I will send it now, because we're going to be joined by actor Stuart Zagnit, who will come along and play the Today Yesterday quiz with us.
I thought when he wanted the link, it was for Red Bull, so I said thank you for your support. And he's like, I'm one of the guests.
Oops,
I was like, sorry, I thought you wanted that link.
No, I gotta do a quick little Gmail thing here, Vicki. Tell us about.
Use the right email.
Yeah, tell us about your shows at the Greenhouse while I contact our guest.
Well, we did a performance 2 days ago. We sort of opened for a special group that bought out the house, and it was great. It was really great. It was good to be back on stage with real people laughing, not on a Zoom. You're not streaming. It was real people, a real experience, and just the start of everything now.
And you were doing, was that late night catechism or which
Late
one?
night catechism, yeah. Yes.
I'm doing it right this second. I'm literally, I'm trying to talk and do this
You know,
while
Well, I'll tell you how I started the day. I started the day at Holy Name Cathedral doing my Chicago church and the mob tour. Because on the steps, you probably don't, and you may know this if you know anything about the mob in Chicago. There was a mobster named Jaime Weiss, which sounds like a very Jewish name, but it's not. His real name was Earl Wojciechowski. He was a Catholic Polish kid. Changed his
I think
name.
that says everything right there.
Changed his name. They were all Catholic. Al Capone, all those guys, the Irish mob, the Italian mob. But Jaime Weiss was killed on the steps of Holy Name Cathedral. And the bullet holes are still there.
Hold on. I've got an email. I've got to send. Or are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
So I'll face. I've got Facebook. So hold on one moment, Vicki. I just want to send this same link to one other place.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I told her we're good. We're good.
You're good.
Hold on. I'm coming. Hold on.
Maybe Vicki could do some silent prayer.
Do the quiz by myself.
Oh, so
I'll be myself. I'll be sister.
Now, speaking, I think I may have asked you this already, but I'll ask you this again. Were you telling me last time, or someone was saying about the South Side versus the North Side of Chicago? Because
Very
all
much.
I hear about Chicago is just terrible.
Terrible what?
Terrible, like people getting shot on steps of cathedrals
Well,
and otherwise, you know.
That happened in 1926.
I know.
Yes, there's violence in the city, but there's also beauty and wonder, and it's a fabulous city. You know,
Yeah.
It's a large city. There's violence in almost every large city. So,
Well, do you know anything about Carbondale?
yes, sure.
What's
Carbondale
Carbondale
is-
like?
Carbondale is way in the south of Illinois. It's practically not Illinois. It's almost Kentucky. It's so far south.
How
It's
is-
where Southern Illinois University is.
Right. Okay, can you hold on one moment, Vicki, please?
Sure.
This is doing left, that's nothing.
I'll just do a little dance.
Just keep talking.
Keep talking. Let's see. What should I say? I'll tell a joke.
Yes, please do.
There we go. No, we're good.
No, we're not good. We're just having some technical stuff of trying to get our upcoming guest the link to our program. Hold on one moment, please.
Hold on. We got it.
I should be playing
Got
music or something right now, but hold on. Do.
He said it's not opening up.
That's weird. So he does have it, but it's not
Yeah.
the
That
full.
means I win the quiz. Just
me-
ask me whatever questions. I'll win.
Oh, well, have you been going to the theater besides doing your own stuff?
I have started to go. There hasn't been much theater. In fact, this weekend, there's a cabaret space opening in Chicago called Venus.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to go to the opening. It's just going to be, there'll be some small performances, but it's just starting in the city to open.
Oh, well, have you? I'm sorry, I'm literally bifurcated here. I'm trying to be live on the air, talk to you, and
That's
deal with our guest who is having trouble opening the link
If I
to.
could tap dance, I would, but I'm
Oh,
just not a good tap dancer. I am so sorry. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, do it up. I don't know what else I can do for this guest though, because I've literally sent the link like 3 times to 3 different places, and
I'm gonna send it. I'll send it here.
yeah. So let me
So,
read the rule. Well, no, I'll have to repeat the rules anyway if and when Stuart gets here. So,
Carbondale. Why did you ask about Carbondale?
I sent him
I'm just curious about Southern Illinois. Here's Leslie.
Oh, Leslie's in. Excellent.
So the link worked for her. Hold on. We've got Leslie Hoban Blake coming into the Daverhood. She is a longtime critic and theater. I let her in, and then she disappeared. It's gonna be. Oh, there she comes.
Oh, so I sent him.
Coming in.
I think he clicked.
Probably, yeah.
I sent him the link, and I'm gonna see.
See if
Let
yeah.
me see if I can get
because I send him a link on Facebook, the same link in whatever. It's the link. Now, Leslie, you're looking. I realize it's an era of people being BIPOC, but you're very black at the moment. Yeah. Can you even hear? Well, okay. So we're talking.
All right, let's go back to Carbondale.
Carbondale.
I'll tell you, when politicians in Illinois are on a statewide campaign, when they're in Chicago, they have a voice like mine. It's a very Midwestern Chicago voice.
Yeah.
When they go down to Carbondale in that area, they suddenly got the drawl, and their voices are changing, and they're talking, and you see them on the news, and you think, "Whoa," because they're just trying to appeal to that Southern voter in Illinois. But it is,
yeah,
there is a real difference.
Well, can you tell a South? Well, that's more of a Boston thing, a Southie from a Northie. But can you tell like different parts of your state from listening?
You can tell different parts of the city. Yes, definitely.
Well, what are examples? What are things that?
Okay. Well, there's the classic D's, Dems, Do's. The person who's on the South Side. The white. It's the White Sox versus the Cubs. So when you talk about the city, there's a river that goes through Chicago, and it literally is south of the river, north of the river. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to get rid of that.
Oh, sure, of course.
Good morning.
Oh,
good morning.
Good morning, Leslie Hoban. Huh? Oh, Leslie Hoban Lake is with us. Leslie, how was your week? How you doing?
Hi, Vicki. Oh, let's not even go there.
Okay.
Oh, well, you look lovely.
You're too sweet, Vicki. And you're in a cabbage field or a lettuce
I am
field.
in because this is pretty much what my deck looks like. My son has planted in big pots 6 tomato plants, 2 cucumber plants, and so many herbs. I could open up a grocery store.
Are they actually growing and edible?
Oh my God, they are growing. You can
That's
barely
delightful.
fit.
That is so wonderful.
I have a table with 4 chairs, and they're decent size. Not so sure 4 people could fit on my deck now.
Wow. So if I was Stuart's in. So Stuart, he has to unmute, so we have to hear him. Thank you, Hon, for your help on this.
Okay, I'm here.
Oh!
Oh, thank goodness. Excellent.
Looks great.
Yeah, I love that. And polka dots, usually they tell you not to wear on the air, but it works. It's good. I love it.
Oh, thank you. I'm starting a new trend.
It is.
They said no French fries on the air either, I think.
Well, this is intentional because I'm going to be talking about, not with you guys, but later on in the show, I'm going to talk about that whole 4th of July hot dog eating fiasco with ESPN. And did you hear about that?
No.
No, what are you talking about?
Oh, it's one of the most, my father died a few weeks ago this year. This was worse. This was just, I tuned in to watch the Nathan's hot dog eating contest that they do every year, and Joey's Chestnut going for the record because he did 75 last year. And so I live for this all year. I live for this. If it doesn't happen, I have a knife ready to cut the wrists. So they're showing it. He's going at a pace of like 100 hot dogs per minute. 10 hot dogs per minute, 110 minutes.
2 at a time, right?
Yeah. And so he's going, and suddenly ESPN cuts out. And they lose their feed.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
And then they come back to it, and then they lose their feed again, and they come back. And by the time they finish, then they get and fix the technical difficulties, we've actually missed the last 90 seconds and a world record. So I was just, was I mad? Do I have things to say about that? You guys weren't watching or trying to watch?
I got the results. That was all I was interested in.
Yeah.
I didn't want to watch the guy do it.
But Stuart.
I actually didn't realize it was televised. I thought you had to be there at Coney Island to experience it. So,
well, it's on like ESPN. Unfortunately, thank you, ESPN. You couldn't find it on the web. You had to have a cable station with ESPN running, and this is how they do it. I'm still upset. Now.
I can hear that. It's very upsetting how upset you are.
you think it was
You think it was fixed during the time the blackout? So that
Oh,
Right.
Stuart.
He really didn't eat that many. Of
56,
course.
58, 98, 99, 100.
Oh, Stuart.
Yeah, no, he did go
You
off.
heard it here first.
No, because I sometimes ask myself, if I have my choice, if I can have my father back alive or be able to
Oh,
watch.
David, stop saying that.
Sorry,
Really,
very
that's
sorry to hear
really
about
upsetting
your
to
father.
me.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you.
Isn't the trick to dip it into water and then
Yes.
yeah.
Dip, you break.
Yeah.
You know, it's wet, you break it, and you go, oh, yeah.
This year they said he ate it 2 at a time. He was eating
was
them 2
one,
at a
but
time.
It was one, but he broke it in
Seriously.
half, Stuart.
Oh, or
Oh.
didn't take two. Yeah. Oh, you know that. So don't tell me you've never watched this, Leslie. You've seen it. If you know that
No,
much.
they showed it on the news. I watched the news afterwards. I don't bother watching and do it.
And you know
A
the
good,
break.
a good Chicago hot dog has pickles and relish and
Oh, yeah, right. You got
mustard,
the whole
and
thing.
you never put ketchup on it. So, but
Yeah,
it's just plain old hot dogs.
well,
There's
this
no
is just a
relish.
dog dipped in water.
It's just
The
a hot dog and a
interesting
bun.
is before he was the champ. He's been like the champion for 15 out of the last 16 years. He's been the champion with several world records. You know who the previous champ was? Miss Helen Hayes.
You lie.
No.
She was notorious in business. Yes.
Lassie won one year.
Anyway, we're here.
It made her so popular among the boys. What?
I'm sorry.
Nothing, never mind.
Yeah, this is it's such a boy thing, Leslie. You don't really, I don't know any women who are like, I gotta watch that hot dog eating contest. You know,
Well,
it
there
just,
is a woman who does it, and for some reason, she can only eat half as many as the guy, and I
Vicki Sudo.
cannot figure that out because I know most women have got lots of practice, and
I think
don't.
Stuart's right. I think there was a glitch for a reason.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I need to hear more about Leslie's history. Okay, so but
I think it's the size of the hot
I
dog
said
that
women.
matters.
I did not say myself.
not
I
the
just
size,
said
it's the
women.
thickness, Stuart. You know that.
Oh yes.
Yes, right.
God.
Anywho.
Where is David Stewart when you need
No, it
him?
was also disappointing this year because the woman that you're talking about, the leader, the Vicki Sudo, did not compete because she's like 9 months pregnant. So like,
So
like
the woman who only ate 43 of them was not the original winner of the last year's contest.
yeah, no, Mickey had been the winner for the last couple of years, but she was at the event because her boyfriend was competing, her husband, excuse me, her husband was competing, and she's there, like her belly's out to here, which she just began because everybody else's bellies were out to here.
It's not pregnant. It's only Frankfurters.
There you go.
So
And
what
then she looked
happens
exactly like
afterwards?
Joey Chestnut after the after he won.
Exactly. Yeah, they showed the two bellies, and you,
Stuart Zagnit, may I say hello?
yes, please.
May we introduce ourselves? Because I wasn't here when you. Good morning. It's nice to see you.
Now, I'll make the introduction. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're here playing the Today Yesterday game on Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife Joyce. We have Vicki Quade, who is the creator and performer now of the once again back on the boards Late Night Catechism and what's the bingo one?
Oh, Bible bingo, but Holy Ghost bingo's coming up for the Halloween season.
Holy Ghost bingo in a couple of weeks. So,
Well, in October.
Couple of months. Yeah, right.
All right, okay. Leslie Hoban Blake, keeping me honest. Leslie is a longtime theater critic and director, as I said. She is also on a podcast called Critics Circle that you can watch on YouTube with our mutual friend Charlie Gross. So, Leslie, did you do a new one this week? Was there a...
We did. We finally got the one up with Robert Viagas. It's up. It's on YouTube, and it was shown on the station on Thursday. And I mean, it's just hysterical.
Oh, good.
The things that don't mean anything anymore at this
Oh,
point in time.
yeah.
Vicki,
How
go ahead.
are the photos?
Everything worked out fine. The photos were. Everything was great. I mean, if you want to watch it, Vicki, it's up on YouTube under.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to see
Okay,
your
please
photos.
do. I want to ask you about the other, but first introduce Stuart. You
Yes,
didn't get past.
ladies and gentlemen, Stuart Zagnit from Little Shop of Horrors and from Wicked and from Professor. No, I'm not a Pokemon guy, but it was Professor
Professor Oak. I am Professor Oak.
Pokemon.
Yes.
So, What have you been working on? Have you been doing more Zoom stuff? What have you been doing recently, Stuart?
Recently,
Yeah.
very recently, not much. Sort of in waiting to start rehearsals again for Carolina Change in September. We are scheduled now to start previewing October 8th and open October 27th at Studio 54. And I am in episode 3 of the upcoming season, soon to be released season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Good, excellent.
So you can watch me perform a bar mitzvah.
Oh,
It's a very exciting scene.
As the rabbi?
As the rabbi, yes.
Ah, okay.
So,
no, I thought it was going to be the child. So, but
the child was great, boy. He really knew his stuff.
This is good.
He knew that Torah portion. I'm telling you.
Was he phonetic, or did he actually do it in the Hebrew? Or I'm looking for my questions here while we speak. So you have all played the Today Yesterday game before. So I'll make the rules pretty quick and succinct.
You've actually come back, Stuart. I give you great props for that.
Well, he paid me a lot this time.
Oh, I got you.
Tell Vicki she's doing this for. Sorry. Now I'm screwed. But
Vicki, I just want to know before he does that. So you had audiences. You were streaming, or you were actually live at the theater?
No. It was a live audience. They bought out the house. It was a special group, and it was wonderful. And they really loved it, and they were comfortable sitting next to each other. It just seemed normal. It just seemed completely like 2020 never happened.
And then I have one question for Stuart. Stuart, yes. Have you actually rehearsed with Sharon? Have you actually met her?
Oh,
Sharon,
yeah. Well, we were 24 hours from our first preview.
Right.
And she is.
I met her in London when she was doing We Are the Champions, and she's heart-stopping. She's absolutely heart-stopping. I can't wait for that show.
She will do the same in this, and she is one of the dearest people in real life. You meet her, and these arms go around you and envelop you in a hug. She's so loving and
she was
so
also on
uber
She was
talented.
also on Doctor Who. I'm a big Whovian. She was also on Doctor Who. So
I have to check that out.
Mention that to her when you see her.
What's the name of that show? Doctor something?
Doctor.
I'm not going to fall for that. No. What?
Who, what, where, why, when?
Yeah, right.
Which is the perfect lead-in to the game, because you'll be asked who, what, where, when questions. Some of them multiple choice, some of them not. Each question is worth 2 points if you get it right. If you get it wrong, it can be stolen by someone else in the group. So I will ask, with all due respect to the lovely ladies, Stuart, I think this is only your second or third time on the show. So
my second
time on the show. You are our specialer guest. So I don't know what that means. Can you pick a number?
Hey, Vicki, we can leave now. It's okay.
No, Vicki's been on 4 or 5 times. She's family. But remember that line from they always choke me up a little bit and spam a lot. When Arthur's aide-de-camp, he feels always left out, and he feels very whatever. And then he's like, "Oh, what about you? Never think about me." And he's like, "Well, he's family." And he's like, "Oh, So Vicki, you're family now. Stuart, you're still like the weird uncle." So
thank you.
A number.
Coming from you, that's a compliment.
It's a dysfunctional family. Can you pick a number between 1 and 6 and tell me what it is?
Yes, I can pick a number between 1 and 6. Oh, you want to know? Oh, okay. It is 4.
4. Ooh, 4 for Stuart. Kindly, Vicki.
I'll do 3 because I have 3 kids.
Okay. Q for Quade, 3 for 3, and
I will do 6.
Because
there's a 6 behind your head, so I will do 6.
There's an 86 actually.
Well, it's actually
806.
There we go. Because it's the 806 episode.
And he's on the dating game, which is that little star in the background.
Oh, that's right. The asterisk. Yes.
Oh, that's right. Oh, it does look like that.
That's a flower shape. That's from the flower power. Have you watched the celebrity dating game?
I watched it once, and then that was enough.
I know. And at some point they have this the celebrities say, So who do you think I am and why? And I thought the most embarrassing question in the world is
Right.
to say to a bunch of people who can't see you based on 3 idiot questions, who do you think I am? And I'm like, oh God. And what is that old Tyrone Power joke? If you got to tell them who you are, you ain't.
Yeah. However, what a brilliant show that we still remember. If anyone goes like this, mwah, we know where that came from.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it also came from Dinah Shore.
Oh, that's right.
Dinah Shore did
Big
that.
moi. That's right.
My proctologist does that.
Oh.
I need to talk to him about that. Anyway,
Mr.
Let-
Peabody.
I just
He never calls and he never writes.
That's right. I found the flower a week later, but
Oh.
anyway,
Read the card.
you know the joke. I'm sorry. Anyway, I rolled a 1. No, we don't even have to tell any questions. Let's just talk. No, I rolled a 1, which is closest to Vicki Quade. So, Vicki, you can choose whether you want to go first, second, or third.
Oh, I'll go first.
Okay, Vicki goes first, and I'm going to roll the die one more time. Oh, and it came up. Big box cars for Leslie, 6. Do you want to go second or
Yes,
third,
of course,
Leslie?
I'll go second. Thank you. Sorry, Stuart.
No,
I'll
sorry.
wait here. In the dark. And
You just
suffer.
hang in the backyard for a while. This is good. So
Better than waiting in the car, you know?
I think this is going to be so much fun. I think you guys are absolutely wonderful. We're going to have a blast. And by the way, he's on vacation. He's having a wonderful time, I think, in Maryland. Our best.
No, it's Maine. It's M. It's going from Massachusetts to Maine.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
M word,
Yeah,
not
right.
Maryland.
He's going to Malaysia.
In Madagascar.
But David Stewart, a big shout out to him who could not be here today. So it gives us the chance to have this wonderful group. Are you guys ready to play the today, yesterday game?
I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm ready to lose.
And there you go. Well, no, Vicki has already. We have 2
One
champions.
time,
Yeah, Vicki won once. Leslie won like 3 or 4 times. I think.
3,000 times. Leslie has won.
No,
I generally win when David's not around, Vicki. That's the way it works.
but Stuart, this could be your.
And I can't even say
Could be.
that, so, you know.
Could be.
Here we go. We're going to begin. The first question will go to Vicki Quade, who goes first. Are you ready?
I am.
Well, my old radio station, 1040, was the year. 1040. Lady Godiva was a freedom rider. She didn't care if the whole world looked. So on this date, she rode. Did we all get that right? Okay, maybe not. So on this date, she rode naked through Coventry to force her husband to lower taxes. In her honor, which of these is not true about Godiva chocolates? A. On Valentine's Day, the average Godiva boutique sells 16,000 chocolate cherry cordials. B. The Truffalata frozen drink has no ice cream in it. C. Godiva truffles made in America have a rounder shape than those in Europe. Or D. Godiva was once owned by the Campbell Soup Company. Which of these is not true about Godiva chocolates?
That's confusing.
I'm gonna say the first one. I bet they sell more than 16. Is it 16,000? Did you say?
Yeah, 16,000 chocolate cherry cordials.
Is that
The
each
average.
store?
The average shop. Just so that's one shop.
Yeah, let me read the choices again. So it's, which of these is not true about Godiva? A, on Valentine's Day, the average Godiva boutique sells 16,000 chocolate cherry cordials, average boutique. B, the Truffalata frozen drink has no ice cream in it. C, Godiva truffles made in America have a rounder shape than those made in Europe. Or D, Godiva was once owned by the Campbell's Soup Company.
I'm still gonna stick with A.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, you win Miss Cordiality because you got it right on the first one, Vicki Quade.
Excellent.
Because
Right out of the box, huh?
that's actually what it was on Valentine's Day. Godiva sells 16,000 chocolate dipped strawberries,
Oh,
not cherries.
ew.
But it is true that between 1966 and 2007, the Belgian company, the Draps family, sold to Campbell Soup. Campbell Soup owned Godiva. Who knew?
The Draps family?
Yeah.
You know what? I love chocolate chub, the cherries. I love those, but I know a lot of people who don't.
But you know what? No, nobody liked the cream of mushroom chocolate.
That's right.
Dip. It just didn't take off.
Chocolate covered.
Strawberries dipped in cream of mushroom, just not
I
good.
love it.
Not good.
Actually, it would be a great thing for, and I'm not gonna, this is not gonna be a joke, but it would be a great thing for a kid if, like, if the parents could afford it. Like, you know, have alphabet soup where they're shaped as letters. Why don't they do chocolate shaped like letters for kids? And it's,
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah, because you have to have some alphabet to make kids eat chocolate. You know?
That's right.
So say like type 1 diabetes.
I can't TYPE. You have to have the number row and
Like an EpiPen is insulin available.
it's like
I have-
pen.
They not only do dark chocolate, they do dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and white chocolate covered strawberries. And remember, there was a Godiva in the Broadway area, so whenever I was seeing a show, if it was anywhere near that, I would stop and get. They cost like about $4 a piece. They're really expensive.
Yeah.
They're big strawberries. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Okay, what's the best flavor?
Oh, I like dark chocolate. It doesn't matter under any circumstances. I'll eat dark chocolate. So
I'm a reformed milk chocolate person.
Me
Now I
too. Me
appreciate
too.
dark chocolate.
is it that our tastes got more adult, or we just learned, or I don't know?
My
I don't like
my
the
wife
taste.
always loved dark chocolate more, and so that sort of opened my eyes to a whole new world. So now here we
I
are.
think it's just we turn old and bitter and we prefer our chocolate that way.
Oh, and we want our chocolate to be the same way. That's cute. White chocolate always tasted like wax to me. I never liked white
I like
chocolate.
it
So
too.
that
Yeah.
was never
My
even
mood.
in contention.
Fake chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
right.
even chocolate.
Yeah, no, that's
guess.
Balmer's. Yeah. And I like Balmer's, but still, it's Balmer's. You know, it's like Russell Stover. Really, okay.
I could live with Russell Stover's all dark assortment. I could live with that.
Yeah.
Chocolate,
They're not bad.
no matter who makes it. You know.
No, there's some stuff. By the way, as long as we're doing this, there's a frozen dessert that you can get at, of all places, Target.
Hmm.
It's called True Fruit. It's about $8 a package, and it's raspberries,
Mm.
frozen. This has to be kept frozen, and it's fresh raspberries and robed in white chocolate and robed in dark chocolate and
Ooh.
frozen.
Ooh.
I could eat
I
that.
gotta tell you, I don't mind the white chocolate. You don't taste it. It's delicious, just delicious.
But did you thaw it, or you eat it frozen like a frozen treat?
You eat it first. You can let it thaw a little bit, but if you let it thaw a lot, it would just be mush.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
you have to keep it kind of frozen.
Still delicious, even as mush.
Delicious.
It's true.
And I found them by accident. I thought it was something else when I took it, and it was.
What did you think it was? I dare ask.
I thought that they were like crunchy, freeze-dried raspberries. I didn't realize they were fresh raspberries.
Mm.
So the taste that I got was not what I was expecting. The texture was not what I was expecting, but it's divine.
Delicious.
My new guilty pleasure. I'm passing it along. Trooper can send me a case. I'll leave my address at the end. And
You deserve it, Leslie. You
Right.
deserve all good things, like you all do, actually. But right now, what Leslie does get, rather than strawberries, is
Leslie
two
did
amazing
get, yeah.
points. She's on the
I
board.
just thought if I talked enough, you'd forget to give me a question.
Did you say Leslie was on the
I
board?
know, Vicki. Excuse me,
Vicki's
Vicki,
on the board.
2 points. I got this.
Stuart, it's rigged.
Yes.
ESPN is holding the
Those
speed
ballots
now.
again.
Big shot there. Yeah. Big shot.
I'm sorry, Vicki. Congratulations, but Leslie, you could get 2 points
I
if you get
could.
the next question right.
And then again.
In fact, if you get it right, you will get 2 points. So there you go.
Right. Okay, let's go.
The year is 1739. England and Spain went to war today over maritime access to the Caribbean for Caribbean for merchant vessels. The war's inciting incident actually happened 8 years earlier, when Spanish sailors violently boarded an English vessel during peacetime. The war raged for about 4 years and lasted 9, but it wasn't until 110 years later that it got its official name, courtesy of historian Thomas Carlyle, who called it what? A, the Rebecca War, B, the War of Trelawney's Damnation, C, the West Indian War of Portobello, Veracruz, and Grenada, D, the War of Jenkins' Ear.
Wow. They're all so good.
I am gobsmacked, as they say. Jesus. I need to hear them all again, please.
You betcha. Okay, so
Starts with
this was a
Rebecca.
war. It was started by an inciting violent incident wasn't named until decades later by historian Thomas Carlyle, who called it what? A, the Rebecca War, B, the War of Trelawney's Damnation, C, the West Indian War of Portobello, Veracruz, and Grenada, or D, the War of Jenkins' Ear?
I'm going to go with Jenkins' Ear.
Is that your final answer?
It's as good as any other. I can't come up with anything else. I could make one up.
What?
I could, very funny.
What?
I could make, yeah, what? Right.
What?
Go ahead.
No, seriously. What? You are right. It was, in fact, the War of Jenkins' Ear. Well, then, do you know why? It's actually
Because I assume somebody tried to bite his ear off, or his ear was,
Of course,
or his ear was taken off by a bullet or some such thing.
It's more of a Pulp Fiction thing. Robert Jenkins was captain of a ship called the Rebecca. And
Oh, there was a Rebecca.
There was a Rebecca. That's why it was a little tricky. Spanish privateer Juan de Leon Fandino cut off his ear and warned that he would do the same thing to the English king. So later, Thomas Carlyle just kind of dubbed that incident that started the war years later the War of Jenkins' Ear.
I love the way you think that by putting Rebecca in there, it would have confused me. Like, oh God, is it Rebecca? Is it? What the fuck do I know about that?
And didn't that start the 7 Years' War?
Oh, nice one, Stuart. Nice one.
Yeah.
Nice one. We are in the presence of there's a comer on that one. Yeah.
I think we're going to call this episode Def Jam. Okay, Def Jam.
Yeah.
Yes. You're not just a
What?
group, you're a herd. Oh, I lobe you all. All right, enough.
He's gonna go on unless somebody stops him.
All right, let's now we have a tie game so far. We have Vicki and Leslie with 2 points, but Stuart, you haven't had the opportunity yet to answer a question. If you get this one right, you will be tied with our other 2 lovely contestants. Are you ready?
All right.
Lovely contestant number 3. The year is 1775. Horatio Gates, military leader of the colony's Continental Army, issues an order today detailing who should not be allowed to enlist. All of these are denied except one. Which of the following are allowed as recruits? A, vagabonds, B, Negroes, C, murderers, D, 17-year-olds.
Wow. Vagabonds. 17 years old. I'm going with 17-year-olds because they probably don't have a license to operate a musket.
So, well, wait. I want to make sure you get the question.
Okay.
Just make
Oh, which were not? Which ones were not?
one of these 4 is allowed to be a recruit. Okay, want to make sure you have the answer to the question of that. So all of these were denied except one who are
Except one. Oh, okay. Oh, that's very different, isn't it? Okay.
So I'll read the
Mhm.
possibilities again. Is it A, vagabonds, B, Negroes, C, murderers, D, 17-year-olds?
I'm staying with my answer, 17-year-olds.
Why must I be a teenager in war? No, I'm afraid that is the wrong answer.
Oh.
Stuart. So we do have a steal opportunity here. So I'm going to roll the die, and it comes up a number 4, which is directly Stuart Zagnit, and closest, though, to Vicki. So, because you chose the number 3. So, Vicki, would you like to try and steal this question?
I would. I'm going to say murderers because they already know how to kill. So I figure they'd say, sure, let those murderers in.
Is that your final answer?
It is my final answer.
Oh, Vicki, you are killing it today. You have taken the lead. because the irony of the fact is that they mention vagabonds can't in this proclamation. They don't say who can, they just say who can't, and among them, no Negroes, no vagabonds, and nobody under 18. But murderers, they don't mention.
It's like Arlo Guthrie going, let me go in there, let me kill, I want to kill.
Kill.
I wanted to say something about the last question. Where does the line in the Caribbean or Caribbean Sea come from? Because you corrected yourself from Caribbean to Caribbean or Caribbean to Caribbean.
Right.
There's a line in a song in a musical that goes, in the Caribbean or Caribbean Sea.
I can try and Google that really quickly.
No. I could do that. I remember the line went through my head, and I believe I know where it's from.
Is it Pirates of Penzance? Maybe.
Oh, you're half right.
Maybe.
No, she's
You're half right.
Half right.
Yeah,
It's the of. Probably the word of appears in it. So
It's the lawyers of Penzance.
It's the pirate. Judy Garland, Gene Kelly.
The pirate.
the pirate.
Mac the Black.
Yeah.
The song is called Mac the Black, in the Caribbean or Caribbean Sea. It was running through my head. I had to say it, sorry.
No, but growing up, it was always Caribbean. And then I heard, no, it's Caribbean. So
Caribbean.
It is Caribbean, yeah.
And when I grew up, it was Moscow, and now it's Moscow.
Right?
Why did they do that?
When I grew up, it was Godot, and now it's Godot. So
I know!
I did that one.
That pisses me off, I'm telling you. You saw the Bill Irwin thing, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, now I'm totally flummoxed. And the problem is now when we see words like this, instead of naturally saying them, and what happened to me with Caribbean is I get caught in the middle. I'm like, that kid, boo.
Well, isn't the classic Carnegie Hall? It's not. It's Carnegie Hall.
Is it really?
It's Carnegie. Yeah.
Don't do that to me now.
Sorry.
And how do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Practice.
On the A train. You take the A train.
Oh.
Oh.
Jokes, same setup. Let's speak of setups. We have a cool game here. We've got Vicki Quade with 4 points, Leslie Hoban Blake with 2. Stuart, you'll get on the board soon, I am sure.
I will. I feel it. Yes.
I feel it. We're coming on to round 2, but I want to remind you, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz. It is our 806th episode of the program. We've been calling it in such a tasteful way, Jose, Can You See? So if you missed our interview moments ago, or a half hour ago now, with Jose Rivera, do go back and see it.
It was a good interview. You did a good job. Or the rabbi did a good job.
Rabbi, yes. What?
He's in the contest with you at Red Bull, Jose Rivera.
Yes. So here's a little plug. See his play and mine this Monday night, 7:30, Red Bull Theater Company's Short New Play Festival. His was commissioned. I just, sort of.
Here's another little plug. He really likes Dave's play.
Yeah, he said, I don't know if he loved it, but he said some nice things about it. He could have said he loved it. Could have gave me his agent's name, but actually he did.
He did.
I'll have to call that.
I was listening.
I'll say Jose Rivera specifically recommended me to you. He said you could call him at any time, day or night, 3 a.m, bother him incessantly, and sign me. But anywho, we're on to round 2 of our Today-Yesterday game here on Dave's Gone By. So Vicki, who is already leading, can pile on to her lead if you get this question right. You ready?
All right. I'll try.
1850 is the annum. Sworn in today is the 13th president of the United States. A lawyer who was personally against slavery, he nonetheless signed the Fugitive Slave Act, returning escaped slaves to their masters, but he also opened up relations with Japan and ran unsuccessfully for another term as head of the Know Nothing Party. Name him.
I should know this. Oh, I really should know this, and I feel terrible.
How do you think his family feels?
Yeah, really. Oh, I do. I just feel awful that I do not know the name of that president, because I do know it. I just can't think of it right now. The 13th president?
President of the United States.
Okay. It wasn't Johnson. I'm going to say Johnson. It's the first one that popped in my head. I know it's wrong.
If Johnsons are popping into your head, you kind of need to get some. But is that your final answer?
Sure.
I don't know what that is. Well, no, I'm afraid Johnson is. Wow, I don't have a Johnson pun. Leslie, help me.
No, I'm not going to help you.
I guess
Get
Vic,
on that
We've already
list.
talked about hot dogs. Isn't that enough?
I know. It's already taken
wait, I have
care of.
one. I guess Vicky and drew a blank.
That's it. I did draw a blank. That's
But
right.
now we get to roll the die, and we get to see who might be able to steal this question. Come on, we have the number 5, and the number. Oh, I think that may be between 2 people, which is between Stuart and Lynn. I gotta roll again.
We're in 6.
Yeah. So now we come up with a number 1, which is closest to Vicky and closer to Stuart. So Stuart, you get to try and steal. I can read the question again. So
Okay.
today in 1850 is the 13th president, a lawyer who was personally against slavery, but he nonetheless signed the Fugitive Slave Act, returning escaped slaves to their masters. But he also opened up relations with Japan and ran unsuccessfully for another term as head of the Know Nothing Party. Name him.
All right. I'm coming up with well, let's see. There's a number of in that ballpark. So pre-Lincoln.
Yeah.
Fillmore, Millard Fillmore.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. Yes.
Well, Stuart, I'm afraid you should be filled with pride because you got it right. It wasn't going to. Yay! Well done. Well done. We have everybody on the board. I love when this happens. Yay!
It
Stuart Zagnit.
seems as if the only thing that Millard Fillmore was good at was being the answer in questions on Jeopardy and in your show, and that's. And yet he was
He's
head of the Know
smiling
Nothing.
down.
So right, and yet he was head of the Know Nothing. So what do you see? What
I
do you
know.
know?
But what a great name. It's a great name, right?
It is.
Millard
Millard-
Fillmore.
Millard Fillmore.
And again, is it Millard Fillmore or Millard Fillmore? You see,
Ah.
there you go.
Millard
Fillmore A. Could be Fillmore A too.
Hey, does anybody know the Fillmore? I'm not joking about that, and I'm not going to Google. But like the Fillmore East and the Fillmore West, were they named for him, or was there another guy named Fillmore?
It's a Fillmore Street, but I think it could probably be names are streets are named after presidents all the time, so it's
Yeah.
very possible.
Trivia, New York trivia, the location of the Fillmore East is on 2nd Avenue, which is now an Apple Bank. And if you walk in, there are great photos of the old Millard, of the old Fillmore East in its heyday, all around the wall. It's like a little museum to it.
But did you ever go
To the Fillmore.
Yes.
to
Oh,
the?
to
Okay,
the Fillmore East?
The actual Fillmore one. It was the Fillmore.
No. Sadly, I did you?
Leslie,
Yes.
who did you see? Zappa? Who did you see?
I don't remember. Honest to God, I remember going. I remember the experience. I don't remember who we saw. It probably was not a big name group. It just was. I mean, I didn't get to see Janice Ian or anybody like that, but I went because it was the thing to do.
Yeah, for you, it was more the film less essentially. Is it? Okay. That's terrible.
No,
And
that wasn't it at all. It was like going to Studio 54, even though it was all over by the time I went. I went because it was the thing to do.
I get it,
But
yeah.
it was all over when I went. It was nothing. It was just a place,
And I had the lovely privilege to work with the late Alice Playton, whose husband Josh did the Joshua Light Show, which accompanied all the acts there.
That.
Wow,
I
cool.
didn't realize that.
It's
Yeah.
cool.
Wow, that was enlightening. Thank you, Stuart.
I loved Alice Clayton. She was so special.
She was
She was.
right. What was she in besides hair? What did she do after that?
Poor Dad. Oh, Dad, I'm feeling hanging in the closet, and I'm feeling so bad. I forgot.
Wasn't she in the First Lady Suite too?
I think
Michael
you're right.
John Lecuso.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Huh.
And her big breakout was Henry Sweet Henry with what's his name?
I know.
Alexander Graham Bell. in the movie.
That's Manuel Noriega.
Noriega.
What do you mean? It was Millard Fillmore. What do you?
Right.
Don't you
That's
remember?
right.
That should be our new go-to is Millard Fillmore.
Millard
Actually,
Fillmore.
it's kind of ironic that we don't know what Alexander Graham Bell was called.
Ah,
Yeah, that's terrible. It really was. Anyway, we're moving
or
on.
even chosen.
There you go. We have, let's see, our next, we come to the fifth question, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leslie, you have 2 points. You are 2 points behind Vicki, but you're tied with.
Tell everybody. Go ahead. Tell everybody I'm 2 points.
Well,
behind.
this is going to
See
give
if I care.
This will churn your wheels to catch up. Okay, catch up. All right, here we go. 1873 is the
He
year.
lives in his own world. We just get to sort of watch it from time to time.
that's right.
1873 is the year, Leslie Blank. 2 French poets in Brussels had a drunken argument. One shot the other in the wrist and was eventually arrested. Both died relatively young but remain extremely influential, and both are name-checked in Bob Dylan's You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go. Name them. 1 point each.
I know one for sure. I'm not sure about the other one. And I don't know if he was the shooter or the shootee. I don't know which way that goes. I know what. Do I get 1 point for one? I'm
1
playing
point
Dr.
for one.
Seuss.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play
It
Dr.
has to be
Seuss.
the last names. So
Okay, Rimbaud is one of them. And I can't come up with another French poet of the time. So give me a second now. No, the one I'm thinking of is much earlier. I should know this. Oh, fuck. I'm going to have to just hope that one was right and let that go. I can't come up with the other one.
okay, yes. Okay. Do you want to go with the one?
I will go with Rimbaud as one. Yeah.
Well, you certainly have drawn first blood with Rimbaud. That is correct. So Leslie does get 1 point, but we have a stealable point here that could go to one of our other contestants. I'm going to roll the die, which comes up a number 2. So I always have to do a number 2 joke. Vicki is closest to your number 3. Do you want to try and steal this question?
I can try, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I've just been thinking of French poets and I am blanking. So I'm going to, since you did Rimbaud, I'm going to say Rocky. And I know it's wrong.
French spelling, Raquie.
Yes.
Oh, that was very good. Come on. That was a very good one.
Well, are you? Is that your actual final?
Raquet. I'm saying Raquet, the famous French poet.
We will rocket you, but that is not, no. Stuart.
All right, this is the only name that came into my head. We have Rimbaud and is it Rabelais? Rabla. Rabelais.
You're thinking of a French writer named Rabelais.
Yes.
No, it's Rabelais. It's a silent S. Rabelais.
Is it Rabelais?
Yes. Well, that's it. That's what I'm thinking of.
And are you going to think that as your final thought?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're kind of a Rabelais rouser. That is no, it's not the correct answer. I'm sorry, Stuart.
It's wrong time period.
Okay.
But
You're going to make me lonesome when you go. No, nobody knows the Dylan's Blood on the Tracks album. I guess not. You should.
You do.
That's one of the, but no, they were frenemies, obviously frenemies, drunken frenemies. It was Paul Verlaine.
Verlaine, okay.
Verlaine, Verlaine.
Verlaine. That's what I meant. I said
That's
Rabelais,
right.
but I meant Verlaine.
There you go. Oh well. But hey, Leslie, you got a point there. So it's going to be a really interesting game, which means
Exciting.
that here's the spread for those of you who are participating.
Keeping score.
It's
For the ESPN watchers.
It's 4 points for Vicki, 3 points for Leslie, and 2 points for Stuart. But Stuart, you can vault over Leslie and be tied with Vicki if you get this question correct. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. So another multiple choice. 1890 was the
Good year.
America gets a new state, Wyoming. Which of these is not true about Wyoming? A,
Okay.
the official state dinosaur is the Triceratops. B, Wyoming was the first state to allow women the right to vote. C, in the entire state of Wyoming, there are only 12 escalators, 6 up and 6 down. Or trick question, these are all false.
Ooh.
Ooh.
No to the dinosaurs. Escalator question, who cares? Why would Wyoming be the first state to allow women the right to vote? Which is a great thing if it's true. So it's either B or D.
Right. Which of these is not true?
Huh?
Yeah,
which is not true. Oh, which is
all three are untrue. We're not doing a double negative thing on that number,
right.
where false is not true. We're not doing it like that. It's either one of the three is untrue or all three are.
Okay. I'm going to go with D.
D. They're all false. Something is wrong with every single one of these.
Or B.
And
I didn't say my final answer. I didn't say my final.
Yeah.
B.
B. You're saying it is not true that Wyoming was the first state to allow women the right to vote.
Oh, so then it's D. And they're all wrong.
They're all
wrong.
They're all wrong. Okay.
They're all wrong. That's D.
They're all.
You must be horrible in a restaurant trying to order. I'll order the chicken, not the fish. No, wait a minute. I want.
Well, I'm afraid
I asked the waiter, what do you recommend? What do you like?
Place across the street is usually the answer. Go ahead.
Yeah. Stuart, that was a false positive there. So that your answer was incorrect.
Ah.
So that only one of these is not true about Wyoming. So we're going to find out if one of our other contestants can steal. We come up with a number 5, which, let's see, that would be closer to Leslie. Leslie, you get to, you get to take the lead.
Do I have to try to answer this one?
Yes.
No, I'm not going to pass. I'll at least give it a go. But, oh dear. Dumbass question. Forgive me.
Thank you very, very much. Yeah.
You're welcome. Usually I'm in all of your questions. This one I find
I don't know. Does Leslie want the chicken or the fish? I don't know. Which one? Beef tips are good too.
hang on. La. So it's escalators, women, triceratops.
Right.
And one is not so.
One is not true.
One is not true. How can any city have only 16 escalators?
It's
So that means it really only has 8 escalators.
Well,
You
it's
can't have an up
12.
without a down.
Leslie,
What?
12 escalators, 12. 6 up, 6 down. Not even.
Okay, sorry. All right.
And one leading nowhere just for show.
Just for
No.
show. You got it out before I could. More appropriate that you do it. All right. I'm going to go. I know it sounds stupid, but I'm going to go with the escalators because I just can't envision that in my mind.
Is that your final answer, Leslie?
Yeah.
Curtain and escalator going up. Leslie, your instincts were right, but it's actually the opposite. In the entire state of Wyoming, there are only
Fewer?
4 escalators in the whole state. 2 going, there's just like 2. They're side by side because one's up, one down. Essentially 2 escalator things in the entire state of Wyoming. Still. So you got it right in a weird way.
I've heard Wyoming was flat, but that's ridiculous.
Oh!
Their motto is the "I'll take the stairs" state.
weren't they ever told it's impolite to stairs? Anywho.
Well, now Miss Vicki gets her choice here.
Well, here's the deal. We move into our third round.
Doesn't Vicki get? Was
No,
that
you
Vicki's
won that.
question?
Leslie, you won that.
Yeah.
Oh, I won it. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You won that. You
No, I
answered it correctly.
You won it the wrong way. You can deny it, Leslie, because you thought that there couldn't possibly be only 12 or 16 escalators. In
In
fact,
other words, I got it right for the wrong reason. Okay, I that's my life.
you
That
should
is the
change.
story of my life. I used to get rolls that way. Everything was always for the wrong reason. Okay, got it now. Got
How did
it.
you
Okay.
get those rolls, Leslie? Okay, here we go. We're moving
No,
on.
I'm very happy. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was trying to give it to you, Vicki.
No,
Well-
you got it.
And
Okay.
here's the deal. That question gives, or that answer gave you the lead. Leslie, you have 5 points. Vicki has 4, but Stuart on the board with 2 as we move into our last round. So anybody could still win. This is so exciting.
Okay.
Today, yesterday game on Dave's Gone By. I've got ESPN on the phone. Their feed is broken, but we're
Are they going to start
Yeah.
televising this? Are they going to start televising this?
Oh, this revolution will not be televised. I'll tell you
Wait a
that.
minute, there was a glitch and Stuart has 12 points for some reason.
Yes.
Wait a
Right.
minute.
Yeah, somehow
Good work,
this is
Dave.
now,
Good
an
work,
8.
Dave.
Yeah, that's now a 9. It turned itself over, and it's now a 9.
All right, we have another multiple choice to begin round 3, and it will go to Vicki Quade. Vicki, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I hope you're feeling the heat because the year is 1913. The highest temperature ever recorded in the United States happened today in Death Valley, California.
Mm.
To the nearest degree Fahrenheit, multiple choice, how hot was it? A, 122. B, 126. C, 130. D, 134.
I'm going to say 134. I think it probably got, I think it normally is in the 120s. So I'm going to say it got 134.
Is that your final answer?
I'm trying, yes.
Hot, hot, hot. Miss Vicki is hot, hot, hot. With the
Wow.
right answer, ladies and gentlemen, Vicki Quade taking the point. 100 came back from hitting 134 long before global warming, too, by the way. This was 1913, but still, we'll probably hit it again more, you know?
I think
hate
they hit it
those
today in
statistics.
Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean. I hate those statistics where you then say, "See, it had nothing to do with global warming," because
100 years ago.
it doesn't help our cause at all.
But here, speaking of helping the cause, here's the deal. Because, Leslie, you can help your cause now because you're 1 point behind Vicki. So,
Okay.
see if you can get this right in
Okay.
the third round. Multiple
He's
choice.
trying to tear us apart, Vicki. That's what it is.
He won't do it.
He's really trying.
He
We're
won't do it,
frenemies.
Leslie.
We could shoot each other in the wrist, but we're frenemies. We can still,
Yeah.
we can still.
I wonder
Actually,
if
I
that
don't want to be shot in the wrist. Thank you very much.
Was it the writing wrist or was it the other one? Ah.
Or the lefting wrist, right?
I won't cut your ear off either. It's okay.
Thank you. I won't do that to you either. That's because it's sisterhood, that kind of shit.
actually when Verlaine shot Rambo, was that poetic justice? I don't know. That's
Oh, but
my joke.
Poetic injustice, yeah.
Yeah, thank
Yeah, right.
My jokes just get verse and verse. But I won't stanza for
I
this.
I
can't
was
stand
thinking of
this
Francois
conversation.
Villon. When you said, I knew I was in the wrong century, and the only V word that would come to me was Francois Villon, which is much too early to be around Rimbaud. And so that's what I just totally forgot about. Poor Paul Verlaine. I forgot about him completely.
Well, poor Paul.
Poor Paul.
Anyway,
He was the Millard Fillmore of poetry.
Yes. Indeed.
actually, I think Peter Orlovsky is probably that. But let's move.
Oh.
Oh, I'm kidding. This next question goes to you, Leslie Blake.
Yes.
Are you ready? It's
Moi.
multiple choice.
À moi. C'est à moi.
1925.
Oh, we're in my century now.
Oh, yes. Indian religious leader Meher Baba took a vow, and he stuck to it for 44 years until his death. What was his vow? A, to be silent. B, to give up meat. C, to give up all alcohol except palm wine, or D, to use no product made in England?
Mayor Baba.
Yes,
Can you spell mayor for me, please?
absolutely. Meher. Who was a distant relative of Mayor McCheese, by the way. But
And Mayor Babka.
Okay, all right.
sorry.
So did he give up wheat? Did he give up speaking? Did he give up wine except for palm wine? And did he give up, what was the last?
It was either. Is it A, he gave up talking, he gave up meat, he gave up alcohol except for palm wine, or he gave up using any product from England?
Well, because of what was going on there, and of course that's what Gandhi got all involved in. I would say products from England, because I would think that was the start of the separation of India and Pakistan. I would think that that's something to do with that. But maybe I'm completely off. I watched too much PBS and I don't know anymore.
So
I learned all my British history from PBS.
So is that your?
I'll go with the British products.
Well, Leslie, you're okay by me, but your answer is not UK, I'm afraid. No, that is not the correct answer.
Wow.
I was very proud of coming up with that choice, though. But no. So now we have a steal opportunity. Oh, my goodness. So we come up with a number 3. Stuart has... Oh, no, sorry, 2. Vicki, Quade, you hit 3 on the nose. So...
Okay. Well, I think he gave up products from France, really, but no, it's okay.
Except for the frozen raspberry things that you dip in white wine. Those
from Target, who wouldn't want those?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's speaking meat or wine.
All alcohol except for palm wine.
I'm going to say the palm wine. I think he probably had a little nip. So I think he that's it.
Well, I wish I could give you a hand, Vicki, little palm joke there, because that was not the correct answer.
Oh, no.
Stuart, Zagnit, oh my goodness, you can really make this a
Stuart.
close game all the way around. You have 2 choices. You got a 50-50 shot here.
Okay.
What did Mayor Baba vow on this date, on July? I never mentioned everything that we've been doing. All these things happened on July 10th. So
Right.
what did he vow to do today? A, to be silent. B, to give up meat.
And did you tell us what his position was? Who he was? Do you have an office, a title?
Religious leader.
Religious
He was
leader.
a member of the Ice Capades.
Remember him well. Yes. Sonia Henney and
And Mayor Baba, right?
Mayor
That was
Baba.
And Mayor Campbell also, yeah.
Well, silence or meat. Silence or meat. Silence is golden.
Yes.
Maybe meat consumption. Maybe that was very provocative and very daring in that time. Did you tell us where he lived? Where he?
Let me read the question again. It was 1925.
Yes.
Indian religious leader,
Indian religious leader.
Mayor Baba, took a vow, and he stuck to it for 44 years until his death. What was his vow?
Well, cows are sacred in India, so there's a lot of vegetarians in India anyway. So that's not really daring. Maybe silence. Maybe he was silent for 25 years. For how many years?
44.
44 years. Okay.
Is
I
that
go
your...
with silence. He gave up silence.
Yes,
Oh my God,
indeed.
thank you.
Stuart Jack got 2 points. He did communicate. He used something called an alphabet board, which was all made of chocolate, and hand gestures. So, yeah,
Or this guy named Morty. Morty, you tell him.
his agent. Right.
His brother, Morty Baba. See, when you said mayor, I didn't know if it was spelled M-E-I-R, M-E-I-R, M-E-I-E-R. And,
Well, if there's MEIR, silence is golden. Ah! Okay, I'm
So
sorry.
as my mother would say, so shut up and see how much money you make.
right.
Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. So Stuart just got 2 points on that. Let me tell you where we're at with
Yeah.
the game here. This is amazing. We have Vicki with 6 points, Leslie with 5, Stuart with 4. So honestly, it's still anyone could actually win this game. And by the way, does everybody have a pen and paper? Because we have one more question before the tiebreaker. Yeah,
Yes.
all new. This is so. I'm so proud.
Look
of
at you, Vicki. You have paper out in your lettuce field. That's amazing. So well prepared.
Well, it's
I
leaves. of
grow
paper.
that too.
Leaves of grass. Oh, I love it.
Well, let us continue. Anywho, this last question now goes to Stuart Zagnit, which means if you get it right, you will tie Vicki for the lead. I'm telling
I
you,
didn't realize there was another question. I'm sorry,
Right.
Stuart.
I'm just getting ready for
Excuse
the tiebreaker, but no, Stuart hasn't had his third question yet. So, Stuart,
Okay.
everything is riding on this.
No pressure.
Caroline or Change will fire you. They'll they'll get Chuck Cooper to play your role. So here we go. Are you?
Oh.
Oh, don't even know. Are
It was
you?
great, by the way.
Of course, yeah. Or Norm Lewis or something. Yeah, but are you ready? Are you?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
The year 1984.
Ooh.
Jim Gordon, a drummer for everyone from the Beach Boys to Peter Allen to Derek and the Dominoes and Frank Zappa, speaking of the Fillmore East, goes to jail today. What did he do? It's a multiple choice.
Okay.
A, had sex with a 13-year-old groupie. B, murdered his mother. C, did a line of coke off his drum kit during a concert at the White House. Or D, broke the arm of his girlfriend, Rita Coolidge.
Oh. Wow.
He went to jail.
Oops, wait, I just lost my meeting.
Oh,
Really?
we see you. You're still here.
Yeah,
But I
we can
can't
hear
see
you.
you. So if I can't see you, what did I do wrong?
Maybe
I
you
touched-
muted your. Did you mute yourself?
No, I touched something and all your pictures went away.
Oh,
You
it
have to
just
hit
means
gal-
that your
you have a
points are
gallery?
increasing.
You went off
Well,
gallery
but
view.
all right, if I hold mine up, you may not. Can you see anything if I hold that up?
Yeah, we can see it. We can
Okay.
see
We
you.
hear
All
you
right.
fine. You
All
can't
right,
see us.
it's okay. I can't see you anymore.
But you
And
can
now
hear
you have 18 points.
It's okay.
A minute.
I'm
Well,
on ESPN. Hooray, Ma. I
who
made
wants
it.
to feed? Get those hot dogs, dip them. So here's the deal. Leslie, at least you can hear us. So you can
Right.
play along. But this is Stuart Zagnit's question. I'll read it again. 1984, Jim Gordon, a session drummer for tons of people, goes to jail today. What did he do? A, had sex with a 13-year-old groupie. B, murdered his mother. C, did a line of coke off his drum kit during a concert at the White House. Or D, broke the arm of his girlfriend, Rita Coolidge.
Wow. Wow. They're also good or also bad. I think the White House is a little extreme because probably that wouldn't really play well. Off of who? Who did he snort off of?
Off his drum kit. Off
Off his drum kit at the White House. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, that's such a you were there kind of question.
Yeah, no, he didn't do it off Nancy Reagan's ass. No, he did not. Yeah.
Right.
And in the Lincoln bedroom as well.
Right.
Right. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with D.
D, he broke the arm of his girlfriend, Rita Coolidge.
Yeah, I'm going to go with.
Well, I hate to twist your arm, Stuart, but that is not the correct answer.
No.
So close. But now we still have a serious game between Vicki and Leslie, and I rolled a 9.
Whoa.
It
Whoa.
puts up 5, which is
Whoa,
closer to Leslie. Leslie.
I know.
For the
Oh
game.
my. All right, so Rita Coolidge is off the table, and that would have been my answer too, Stuart, just so you know.
Thank you. You heard it
You're
here.
welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So it's the White House.
Right.
I don't remember the others.
Oh, I'll say them again. Was he arrested? Did he go to jail for A, having sex with a 13-year-old groupie, B,
Yeah.
murdering his mother, C, doing a line of coke off of his drum kit during a concert at the White House?
I don't think people went to jail for doing a line of coke. It was a recreational drug at that point. So did he kill his mother, or did he screw a 13-year-old? Did it say 13-year-old girl or boy or what?
Groupie.
That could have been either, you know. He was in so many bands, he probably didn't have a groupie. I'm going to say he killed his mother.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's the most gruesome answer I can come up with.
Are you Ed positive? Leslie, well done. He actually, here's what happened to this guy. First of all, he was diagnosed as a schizophrenic. He's still in jail, actually.
Really?
The groupie thing I made up. It may have been true, but because they were all doing crazy things like that. But I don't know if that is all true. The White House thing is completely, the coke thing also no. And his girlfriend was Rita Coolidge, and he did beat her up, but he never broke her arm. Yeah, but yes, he attacked his mother with a hammer during a psychotic episode break, and then schizophrenic break, excuse me, and then he stabbed her to death.
Wow. I should get a point for the Rita Coolidge because it was that was a fact. So and he did beat her up.
Sorry, Stuart. It doesn't work that way.
No, I'm afraid.
I thought that was the last question. I wrote Rita Coolidge on my paper.
There you go.
That was the tiebreaker. Okay.
Well, here's the deal, Leslie. We don't need a final question because guess what? I mean, we're going to do it. We're going to just for funsies. We'll play the we'll do the quote unquote tiebreaker, but there's no tie because Leslie Hoban Blake, you have 7 points.
You won.
Oh.
Woo! 6 points. Stuart with 4.
Oh.
Good game. Well done.
Excellent.
Wow.
Yeah, Leslie, you pulled it out right at that last question.
Wow.
Well
Talk about a
Spirited game.
You got it with
It
Mama
was,
Murder.
indeed. I would have liked better to see you guys. It would have been more fun to see you at the end. I mean,
Well, at the end,
Well, we can see you.
I know that makes me feel really weird.
I have a trivia question for Leslie.
Yes.
Did we do a show together many years ago?
I think Stuart, I think I directed you in reading is what happened.
That's what it was.
I think I directed you.
Because when I heard your name, I said it. I know her.
And I was going to mention you at the end. You were very kind. Everyone was always very kind to me. I had a little theater downtown, and I did a lot of classical readings and other things that nobody else would do. And you were kind enough to come down at one point and read. So thank you.
Remember you remember what it was?
It was the failed musical about Miller.
That's the Miller Fillmore musical.
This didn't go anywhere.
And the sequel,
It's Millard
Miller
Stupid.
Fillmore.
The name of the show is It's Millard Stupid. You remember that show, Stuart?
It's coming to me.
It's coming to you.
See, I love just how people in the it was already a family and it becomes more of one. That's pretty neat.
Well, you know, my theory of show business, there are 12 people in the business.
Absolutely.
And 6 of us have dated.
I used to say that there are 6 of us, but we change noses and we run around the corner and come back again. Never mind. That's a little oops, never mind. That's a little too far out.
Anywho, let's do just, if you don't mind, let's take that one more question just for fun. So,
okay.
Vicki and
as long as you don't take my leadership away from me.
No,
That's hard. I have to tell you both, that was very hard won today. Thank you.
You won it fair and square.
Good competition.
Good work.
So, Leslie, you win, but just for fun, let's see how we do on this question. But what I'll ask you to do is write down the answer, and then when I give a 3, 2, 1, you'll hold it up to the camera, and we will see. No,
Okay.
again, it doesn't mean not that the game itself means anything. Not that anybody wins anything. But here we go. Are you ready? The year was 1910. Born today in Mississippi is musician Chester Arthur Burnett, who was already over 40 by the time he released his first single, Moanin' at Midnight, in 1951. Burnett was better known under another name, and that name was...
So his real name is?
That's what I'm asking.
No.
His real name, born in 1910, Chester Arthur Burnett, born in Mississippi, musician, and in 1951, first single, Moanin' at Midnight, but better known under another name.
I have two, and can I show both of them?
Well, I guess it doesn't mean anything, but you probably want
No, but well, I will show the first one, which I think is my answer, and then I will show the one that I also couldn't make up my mind, okay?
Not Lin-Manuel Noriega. It's just not.
Oh, all right. Well, now there you go. That's one of my choices.
Lin-Manuel
Tell us when.
Well, Stuart's still writing, so...
I'm still writing. I'm trying to figure this out. Chester
You wrote
Arthur.
2 already. What's wrong with you?
Okay, wait a minute.
Hold on.
I'm writing it now. It just came to me.
I'll
I
go.
hope I'm right.
No, just kidding. All right, here we go. The non-necessary tiebreaker. The year 1910. Born today in Mississippi, musician Chester Arthur Burnett, who was already over 40 by the time he released his first single, Moanin' at Midnight, in 1951. But Burnett is better known under another name, and that name was 3, 2, 1, go.
That's one.
I can't see yours.
That's the other.
Chubby Checker. I say T-Bone Burnett, but I think that's wrong.
Can you see mine?
I can see yours. I see both.
But I can't see Vicky's. Vicky's
I see
closer.
Mine says T-Bone.
T-Bone.
Oh, you know what? She's right. T-Bone
But
Burnett.
I also
right,
wanted
Vicki.
to say that I drew a little
Flower?
dating game,
Yes.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm a friend. And Chubby Checker from Stuart Zagnit. The answer is, and amazing, and this is just by sheer coincidence, because we just started watching a documentary about him on Amazon Prime or Netflix. But no, it was the late and great, and I'm surprised, Vicki, from Chicago, you didn't get this. Chicago blues man, Howlin' Wolf.
Oh, Howlin' Wolf. He was so great.
Okay. Well, at least I was going for blues guys. Okay.
Yes.
I came up with Bo Diddley and Muddy Waters, both of which were wrong.
Well,
Right.
they were good guesses, though. That was pretty, pretty good.
I do have Chubby Checker's autograph, though.
Really?
Do
He
you?
was a guest. He was a guest at my swim club in East Brunswick, New Jersey. They had entertainment, and he actually autographed. Yeah, I'm a little kid, and I go up and he autographed. So I have Chubby Checkers.
And isn't
I have-
Howlin' Wolf in the Blues Brothers?
I also have. I inherited. Are you ready? Lucille Ball's autograph. That my uncle, who was in the Army, he met her at the Hollywood Bowl. She was sitting in the row in back of her, and she signed the postcard. He put the postcard in the envelope, sent it to my mother, and
Wow.
I inherited it. And it's one of my prize. I have her. She was a Hollywood starlet. She wasn't a.
Have you ever looked these up to see what they're worth?
I've done a little research. I think the Lucille Ball is in the hundreds. It's not like I would love it would
Right.
be $1,000.
Not like Abraham Lincoln or something. Yeah.
Right.
You got to sell them now because, and really, I have 3 kids. They wouldn't. If I said Lucille Ball, they might remember her.
Right.
Wow.
Oh, no, I
I
think
think collectors still understand the collector's market though,
Right.
but I will take that under advisement.
this is
You remember that movie about the forger, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, amazing
That
movie.
that
Yes,
was so wonderful.
Right.
it was an amazing movie. They were great in that.
Yeah.
I hated the fact she when she wrote the book about what she had done, and she did a lot of interviews and stuff. And it's kind of horrible hearing someone who took advantage of people, and then she admitted it, but you still did it, and you still took money from people.
Right.
And I always had trouble with that. And I think the movie really explored that, the consequence of doing that,
Right.
Sure.
But it's so interesting as an audience member, you don't know what to feel.
Right.
That's a really hard fine line it's like a tightrope,
Well, it was a testament to both of their performances, which were just incredible.
Oh, they were extraordinary.
What an amazing pair. They
Was
were great.
McCarthy, right? Was it
McCarthy, and I did not know
Melissa
that McCarthy had that in her. I did not know that she could do anything but the comedy, the comedic.
I kind of suspected it, and she totally nailed it. Boy, just
Nailed it. She blew it out of the
She had
park.
an Oscar nomination for that.
yeah. And Richard A. Grant, they
Deservedly.
were
Richard
both
E. Grant, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I thought that was a career that really put him on the map in a way that he'd never been
Well,
before.
he had been on the map originally for that with
But-
what was it with Nolan, with Nolan and me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, but if you want to treat, and Leslie, especially you as a critic, you should read, and I remember this, Rex Reed's review of the film. No, not a joke. Of the one about the forger. What's the name of it again? We were just talking about it, but I can't pull the
I
name.
don't know. I don't remember the name of the film.
But
Oh,
because Rex Reed hated that actress, he hated her comedies, made fun of her looks, said she was dumpy and had no
Terrible.
talent. And then he saw that one film, and it's like the greatest review he's ever given anything to anybody.
Right.
I take it all back. You know,
what is the name of that film?
But that's big. Rex is a really interesting guy. I got him into the drama desk at one point, and he's a really interesting man. And it's hard for a critic to say I was wrong,
Right.
you know,
I
because
never do. You know, I'm always right, but you know.
and especially one of his former stature. I mean, nobody has any stature anymore except A.O. Scott, and even that's kind of wobbly at this point. But
Yeah, Stu. Oh,
I have.
I was watching I'm sorry.
I
Go
have
ahead.
the strange notoriety of being one of the few actors that John Simon gave a rave review to. I did
In
an
which show?
off-Broadway production, a show called Mr. President, which was a reworking of the Irving Berlin musical put in the Bush era. And I played multiple roles, and he called me hilarious. And I went, okay, I'll take it.
Okay,
Was
that
that the
movie
one-
was called Can You Forgive Me?
thank you.
Can you
Vicky.
ever forgive me? Yes. Can
Yeah.
you ever
Right.
forgive me?
Wow.
Can You Ever Forgive Me? And it's about Lee Israel.
Thank you, Lee.
Israel, thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
I
I've
had to look
forgotten
it
her
up.
name as well.
Rabbi
Isn't that
Saul is
terrible?
crying in the background because you put Israel in a negative light there.
Do I get 2 points for that? Oh, no. I looked it up.
No, Dr. Sue, you can't have any points for that.
Well, Stu, before I let you all go, but Stu, now that you brought up a really interesting point because Rabbi Saul was asking Jose Rivera earlier about reviews. And he stopped reading reviews because he got this horrible. And it was a great story. If you get to watch the interview, you saw it, Vicki. He was saying that he was reading a New York Times a horrible pan, and his 2 daughters were at the kitchen table with him, while reading it while the reviews came out, and he was just sitting there. He's just they're watching their dad, and then he's reading this terrible thing about his plays. But you got a great. When do you read? Do you read them at all during the show? Do you wait till you're done with it?
I love those people who say I never read reviews because I think they're lying. I think you, by the nature of the business, your curiosity and we always have a hope that we're going to get something really positive. And I had 2 experiences back to back, which was going from the Wild Party, the Michael John LaChiusa Wild Party, into Seussical the musical. 2 shows that were completely different, but both had merit to them. Wild Party was a dark,
I
mature
loved it.
musical that was like the big multi-car wreck on the highway, and you don't want to watch, but everybody slows down and watches it because you don't know how bad it is. And not that the show was bad, the show was dangerous. The show had really brought up a lot of issues that a New York audience could totally support and did. Ben Brantley thought otherwise, And then I went into Seussical, which was one of the most heartwarming, loving family entertainments that, it could not have had a better heart to it. And the message was great. And he killed that one too. And it was like, I used to tell people, I lost 2 shows to Ben Brantley, to the New York Times. And it is heartbreaking. And in less than 1 year, I had 2 of those, back to back. And then I didn't work on Broadway for quite a while for that, and it does kind of demoralize you. I remember sitting on a subway and a mother was talking to her kid about all the listings of what they should go see. And I know that the negative blurb of Seussical was in every week in the paper. It was reprinted in a encapsulated version. And I said, it's telling them this is not worth your time and it's not worth your money. And we knew that these people who came to the stage door that were like just in heaven because they had seen something that really touched them. They didn't know that, and there's a lot of good out there that gets dismissed, by one person.
Stuart, you see, you're not a Yenta. I'm a Yenta. I would have leaned over and said, the best show I ever saw for kids was Seussical.
I was tempted.
Said.
I was really tempted. And occasionally I do speak up,
It's called word of mouth, right? Isn't that what that is?
Yeah.
Also, you can take a negative review and do a lot with it. This is a terrible show. Do not go see this. And then you just say ... see this.
Go see this. Right.
Go see this.
Show.
And that's what everybody does. But
you just say
David and I both share, the mantle of critic.
David Stuart she's talking about, yeah. Well, me too, but
David Lefkowitz, I met you at NCI, so I assume that you still carry you still have that in your bio that you're a critic. So the point is that I remember, I'm going to paraphrase it badly, but Bernard Shaw, of whom there was no greater critic, I think, ultimately, set up a line saying that no person who takes on that mantle has a right to do anything that is harmful. That, in other words, you must approach something and understand its artistic relative merit, which is the way I've always approached it.
Right.
So as you say, Stuart, if there's something in it that's worth mentioning that's good, you have to say that, even if you didn't like the show, or even if you're damning everything else out of hand.
Well, yeah, but if you're in an organ like the New York Times, and the New York Times is a very large organ, especially back in the day.
Yeah, but it's what you do with it, David.
It used to be much thicker.
We're talking about hot dogs again, aren't we?
No, but actually, but Sir Ben, I'm sure, said very nice things about certain aspects of. But if you give if your honest opinion and it's negative, and you have the power of the Times, so you are being honest, and it does close a show. Even though you have said good things, even though you've been you're trying not to do any harm just by not saying this was wonderful, go see it. You're actually doing harm to the show. So
yeah.
Stuart, I had a very short acting career. It lasted about a dozen years, and I went from really working a lot to not working, and then I thought, screw this, and I went into directing. So, but I had 2 Times reviews. I lived to think that I would get a Times review, bad, good, or indifferent, until I got a bad one. I mean, my first review in the Times said that it was about a play, and it said that the play was filled with cardboard characters. Now, that did not say that I was a cardboard character, that I was a bad actress. And yet I took that right to the heart, and I wrote the critical letter. Now, it was what's the guy's name from the Times?
Vandergelder.
He was so sweet. I sent him a letter. I poured out my heart. I said, I'm just getting started, and this was terrible, and you broke my heart. And he wrote back, and he said, please read the thing again. I never said anything negative about you. I said the whole play was, full of cardboard characters. No way. There's no way that any actors could bring that. And I went, oh, that makes me feel much better. But it wasn't in the review.
Right.
So that broke my heart. The other time was I got a New York Times review from Alabama. They sent it from the Alabama Shakespeare Festival to the New York paper, which I thought was extraordinary because it was a really terrific production of Lear. It was just an exceptional production of Lear. And so I had a positive review in the Times, which was worth absolutely nothing when I ran down to the public, when I came back with my big review from Alabama, and they said, "So what have you done in New York?" And I went,
Well,
So the power of the times, right?
yeah, I got spoiled because in 1984, I did a musical called Cooney Lemel at the Jewish Repertory Theater,
Yes.
and I played the title character, and the show got a rave and ran for about a year of my life. But the best thing was in December, on Fridays, there was On Stage and
Right.
Off, and Eda
Right.
Nemi used to do the interviews. Well, they did an interview with me, and Al Hirschfeld did a caricature of me in the character,
Oh,
and
Right.
the editors were always the ones that picked what was going to run in the middle. They picked mine, and it ran in the Friday paper. I bought the original. I have the original now.
From Margot
And-
Feiden?
Pardon?
Did you get it from Margot Feiden Galleries? Or
I bought it from her. Yeah, she did a real number on me. She goes, "Oh, it's sitting here on the easel, and everybody loves it, and you better get down quick because and I know
the price
who
is
knew
going
who I
up as we
was."
speak. Oh,
But
So
good
my
for you
father,
for
my
it.
father had bought one of those life insurance things for my brother and I when we were born, and it was worth exactly the amount that she was asking for. So I cashed it in, bought the portrait, and it was one of my prized possessions now. So
Is it-
that will probably bring you in what you need, for your descendants and whatnot. See, you led with Lucille Ball. You should have led with Al Hirschfeld. My God.
With this crowd, yeah. I don't want to leave Vicki out of this conversation, and then we'll go because I want to finish or do more of the program.
Sure.
But Vicki, any critic stories or your thoughts on?
Just a real quick one. I did a show in Chicago called Mr. Nanny, which was really a cute show. And the reviewer, I think it was Chicago Reader, but I forget where it was from. The reviewer came out and just mentioned a couple, like 2 lines, it was okay, nothing you could quote from. But 3/4 of the review was a rave about the set. And I always said it was a review of the set.
wow.
Sometimes that happens.
Not so much of my show.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, hey, it
Well,
was.
there are critics who have said I left whistling the scenery.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a known review.
Well,
But it's such a fine line. As a theater practitioner myself, I try so hard not to hurt people. You can dislike a show and still say it in such a way as to not hurt people. There's
So that's the
and
difference.
after all, a critic, it's just an opinion. It's ostensibly an educated opinion. But I find myself always feeling very, I still do. If I don't like something for whatever reason, I still do feel very bad about saying anything negative about something because I know what went into putting it up, just getting it off the
Sure.
ground,
Yeah. No, I love destroying lives and careers. I live for that.
And you're doing a great job today, I got to tell you.
Yes.
Yeah.
None of us will ever work again. Not you, Stuart. You're already booked. You got it.
Well, by the way, it has been absolutely. I can see a bunch of people are now. You're on your cell phones doing something, all of you. So I'll let you go.
I'm
But
looking for my Hirschfeld.
can you hold it? Is it on your phone? Can you hold
I'm
up?
looking for it. Yeah, I have it on here.
Well,
It's down in my kitchen. It's down in my kitchen. So keep talking. I'll find it.
well, I want to thank some people. So let me thank actually also let me plug, since we're talking about plays and stuff. If you want to criticize my play, it's happening Monday night, 7:30 Eastern Time at Red Bull Theater Company's website. You can watch it for free or you can donate, either one. Just go to
I've
Red
already
Bull.com.
got my ticket.
Thank you, Leslie. Vicki, do you have yours yet? What?
Yes, I am doing it. Don't worry about that.
Oh, thank you. If you happen to miss it Monday night, folks, you can also see it. They'll stream the replay through the 16th. But it's at redbulltheater.com. It's their short new play festival. My show is called Restoration Playhouse. Jose Rivera, our guest on the show today, he has a play called Lunar. Also, Connie Congdon has a play in there called If This Be a Play There Be. It's a long title, but it's really cool. It sounds great. It's all about when they had to move Shakespeare's theater across the Thames. They all sound really like wonderful plays. And I saw my rehearsal on Friday. I think mine's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, that's enough me. Vicki Quade, go see hers at the Greenhouse.
That's right. In Chicago.
I'm sorry, yeah, in Chicago. The Greenhouse Late Night Catechism, is it on weekends or how many times?
It's only on the weekends. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday,
Um,
Saturday, yeah.
And then Holy Ghost Bingo opens for October, and Christmas Bingo opens for the Christmas
For
season.
Christmas holidays. Now, Leslie, as we want to remind people, you finally got the Robert Viagas episode. I keep mentioning my old boss. The Robert Viagas episode of Critics Circle up with you and Charlie on the YouTube channel Critics.
We also feature Bill Irwin. We got some of that footage from when he was busking downtown. Which was
Wow.
really
That's
wonderful. It's done to the public. He was out. Well, when the theaters were closed, Bill is such a dear, sweet man, and he just took himself to the streets
Wow.
to perform, which is how he started. Of course, he was in San Francisco. He was a street performer. Initially, he was part of the whole vaudeville nouveau scene. So,
But he
I
doesn't
just-
take the subway, he takes the bus. But, I'm sorry.
but you know what you forget to mention when
Here
you
we
talk
go.
about me, Charlie? I am the historian of the drama desk, and I wear that very proudly because I'm the
Oh,
first.
that's fabulous.
Hold
Look
on,
at that.
Leslie, we're breaking in right now.
Yes.
With exciting that he
Oh,
had
you
visual
can't
of my
see it.
caricature, because you can't see it, Leslie.
Oh, I will watch this as I do. I will watch this
Oh.
later, and I will
Okay.
see it then, Stuart. Sorry, I
Oh,
can't see
Stuart,
it
it's
now.
wonderful. Now, Stuart, where is Nina in that?
Yes, where are the Ninas?
So there's one, and when there's only one, he doesn't number them, but it's right in my chin, in the beard, my chin of my beard. So
I will look
I don't know if
for
you
it.
can see it, but it's
It's
without,
It's
but
great.
I certainly
but it
see-
is there.
Yeah.
Was
It's
it,
Wonderful.
I saw.
Stuart, was it still Zaman Lotek when you were doing Kunilemo?
No, Kunilem, it was Ron Avni was the producer of.
Oh my God!
the Jewish
I
Rep.
know Ron Avni. I worked with Ron Avni at the Jewish Rep.
Yeah, this is what it looked like. This was the original framing. I've had it reframed now with the kind of thin black frame but the matting is the same, and it's such a
I
lovely.
can't wait till Dave puts this up so I can see it. I can't.
Yeah,
I feel so stupid looking at the little white light and talking to you all. It's so strange.
We can see you, and that's the important thing.
I know.
Right.
I have to be careful not to pick my nose or do something awful.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not on camera.
Don't do that.
It doesn't stop Dave.
so you
Stuart
can pick
Zag,
your friends. Yes,
but you can't
Yeah.
pick your friend's nose.
I can't wait to see it, Stuart. I'm very excited about seeing it.
See,
I'm available to give showings of it, so you just have to come out to Brooklyn.
There is
No.
a fee because you got to make up for that,
That's
That's right. That's right.
now, speaking of seeing things, everybody go see in a few weeks, go see Stuart Zagnit on Broadway at Studio 54 in the revival of the Tony Kushner and
Janine Tesori.
thank you, the musical Caroline or Change. It'll be starting
Now,
preview.
is it Caroline or Carolyn?
Caroline, L-I-N-E.
No, I know. I
You know, we're doing the Fillmore thing and Millard.
My wife is Carolyn, and she's Carolyn. Yes, so
Oh,
Cool.
well, then you don't have a problem. Then you know.
And when Vicki Quade gets her Christmas bingo up, they'll all be Carolyn.
Carolyn.
Ah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank all of you so much. I hope you had a wonderful time. I hope you all get to come back and play the Today Yesterday game.
it was the
I
most
hope
fun
the
I've
play
had
goes
losing a
very
game.
well Monday night, Dave.
Oh, thank you, Leslie. And
I never say break a leg. I will say merde alors, as the French do.
Yes.
I will not say break a leg.
no, marriage is appropriate for me. Stuart, you were also complimenting me on something. So yes,
Yes,
please.
it was the most fun I've had losing a game. I just want to say.
Jason Gross said the same thing about the Today
Really?
Yesterday. Yeah, honestly.
He stole that from me. That guy steals all my lines, I'm telling you.
Come
Guys-
back. Please come back, Stuart.
Please,
Okay.
yes, and Vicki too, and Leslie too. So, Moa to all of you. Have a great
Wait a
summer.
minute. Mwah.
Thank you. Great playing with you all.
You might want to rephrase that, but Stuart Zagnit, thank you. I'm going to remove each of you, so don't take it the wrong way. Thank you all for being in the Daverhood, playing the Today Yesterday quiz. Leslie, we're going to just leave you like this. Thank you, Leslie, and thank you so much, Vicki, for
Take care.
having a great time.
Bye-bye. I had fabulous.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is about 25 to 12 in the afternoon, Eastern time here in the Daverhood. You're watching Dave's Gone By. See, we keep this up just so you don't forget it. Dave's Gone By, our 806th episode. See, and we're calling it Jose, Can You See? Because we had the delightful everybody on the show today has just been so lovely and fun and funny. And now you come back to me. Dave Lefkowitz, the host and producer of the show. I want to remind you about a couple of things. First of all, as Leslie was saying, she doesn't get Facebook, right? So she doesn't want to join Facebook. So she can't watch the first part of this program live. It's okay. She can go back and watch it later on because it's saved in several places, hopefully forever. For example, you can go watch the first, or listen to, the first Dave's Gone By we ever did. It was back in 2002. It was on terrestrial radio, so it's an audio file only, but we got it. And we have our 10th show, and our 100th show, and our 400th show, and our 600th, and our 800th show just a couple of weeks ago. They're all saved, and they're all available at davesgoneby.com. DAVESGONEBY. davesgoneby.com. So yes, we've tried to save every single show we ever did. We lost a couple. There are a couple with some technical difficulties. There are a couple where there's some footage lost, as it were, but mostly they're there. And there's even a separate archive where we've extracted the interviews that we've done. So if you don't want all the rest of the show and my comedy and yammering, and you just want to hear an interview that either I did or Rabbi Saul did, or sometimes Peter Fitzgerald did, well, you can just go to the separate archive at davesgoneby.com of these wonderful guests. So if you want to hear Stuart Zagnit's first appearance on Dave's Gone By, it's there. If you want to hear Vicki's first couple of appearances, because she's been on like 3-4 times now, God bless her, go to davesgoneby.com. And of course, all the times that Leslie Hoban Blake, even before we started doing the Today Yesterday game, and she was part of that, we had her on our Tony Award shows, making predictions and giving her thoughts about Tony nominees. These are all at davesgoneby.com. They're also at archive.org. Archive.org. It's a not-for-profit website that is trying to collect basically everything anybody has done in the past 3,000 years. If it was on papyrus and somebody wrote it, a poem, back in ancient Rome or Greece or Egypt, and they can get a hand on, or they get a camera on it, they'll archive it and put it on archive.org. They have tons of old-time radio, some old-time TV from the 40s, 50s, 60s, etc., and plus books, like the whole Gutenberg kind of thing of if it's public domain, they're going to try and have it at archive.org. Well, we're very proud that Dave's Gone By, all our episodes and all our interviews are there as well. So you want to support them, go to archive.org. Or if you're an audio person and you want to run out and do things and you can't sit here for 3.5 hours and watch the show, but you want to listen to it, well, castbox.fm does things as an audio podcast. So we download just the audio of the show, we give it to castbox.fm, and that's a real easy way. Because if you go to davesgoneby.com, you can download the show as an MP3 or stream it, but Castbox really turns it into more of a podcast, however that works. Castbox.fm. Look for the Dave's Gone By channel. Also, we have a Dave's Gone By YouTube channel where we have hundreds and hundreds of shows and tons of clips and things. The only issue is YouTube sometimes plays little games because many of our shows from years ago had musical content. I was also part of the show was DJ stuff. I would play songs that I wanted to play and didn't quote unquote have the rights to them. So unfortunately YouTube says, we've got to mute that or this is going to be blocked in 14,000 countries. That's YouTube for you. So we still try and put our stuff on YouTube, but it's been problematic sometimes. But try it. YouTube, the Dave's Gone By channel. And what else do I need to tell you? Oh, of course. By all means, you're going to want to tune in if you're in Nassau County and you get Altice Cablevision, Channel 20 on Monday early mornings at 1 o'clock in the morning or Tuesdays at 4 a.m. Those are the times, folks. You can watch random 1-hour excerpts of the show. So if you happen to be watching TV instead of on your computer or listening to the radio or something, and you're flipping dials, and go to like 15 home shopping, 16 whatever that is, 18 government, hell for government crap, 19, and then 20, well, if it's 1 o'clock in the morning Monday, 4 o'clock in the morning Tuesday, channel 20 on Altice Cablevision in Nassau County, you'll see an hour randomly chosen of Dave's Gone By. Not the best way to get the show, but if you happen to happen on it, it's a way for us to get some new viewers. Most importantly, please tell everyone you know that if you enjoy the program, if you love the different segments that we do, tune in, get them to like us and follow us on Facebook, get them to watch the show at davesgoneby.com, get them to talk about the program, and also to say nice things about me. Nice, well-thought critical things about Dave Lefkowitz, who, by the way, have I mentioned I have a one-act play being done virtually on Monday evening at 7:30 at the Red Bull Theater Company website, and that it's free. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to reserve, but you can donate if you want to. RedBullTheater.com. If you want to read my play, Restoration Playhouse, before or after you see it, because it's kind of dense with the language there, even though it's very, very funny, just go to davelefkowitz.org. I've got like hundreds of my pieces of writing there, from one-act plays to full-length plays to my reviews as a critic to interviews I've done with some pretty famous people. All there, all indexed and archived, davelefkowitz.org. And so Restoration Playhouse is there. You just find it, you search for it in the search box. It will come up. You can either read it straight on the screen, but the best way to read it is just click the little button that says download. You can download it, but it's not just going to come into a file on your computer. You hit the download button, it just opens up the play in proper play script form, which is the easiest visual way to read the play. It's called Restoration Playhouse. Do please check it out, both Monday night from Red Bull and on my website, davelefkowitz.org. Okay, enough of the promotion, enough of all that. What else are we doing on this episode of Dave's Gone By? Well, we still have Greeley crimes and old times to talk about, and we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Plus, we'll do our Friends of the Daverhood and check in on folks who have been on this program in months and years past, and seeing how they're doing. But before then, what else did I want to mention? I talked about this briefly, but I'll talk about it a little more because, look, I'm wearing this red shirt because, I was mad, red-faced in anger and disbelief. And also the fact that this is ketchup and fries, and I'm very, very sorry about that. Don't talk to me. Just don't talk to me. In talking about, and I was speaking about this to the gang before, of what happened last Sunday, because I really do look forward to this. I really, really am into this every year, and I shouldn't be. It should be like boxing and ultimate fighting and all this stuff, where it's like, people really get hurt. And people can lose teeth and break things, and they get concussions, and they turn into Muhammad Ali for the last 25 years of their lives. I shouldn't support things that are dangerous that people are doing. And yet, the sheer ridiculousness and stupidity and grossness of extreme eating competition, that trumps everything. The very fact, because dangerous, skiing and luge and slalom is dangerous. Even the guys who go down in that zhuzh tube in the Olympics, they're in a little pod like a cocoon, and they're all wrapped up, and they really don't do anything. I think they try and guide like a worm, like the guy in Todd Browning's Freaks, who doesn't have any arms or legs, and he's just kind of, So what can they do? They just hope their pod is okay as they go 150 miles an hour down these chutes. And I remember a couple of years ago, one guy just went, whoop, The shoot did not go well. He went over it, and bam, he was dead. So any game can be kind of dangerous. If you get two angry chess players at a chessboard, one could potentially take the bishop and go in the other one's eye. But some sports are more dangerous than others. And some are willfully stupid and dangerous, among them competitive eating. How many chicken wings, hot wings, can you down in such and such a period of time? How many cupcakes? How many, you name it. Would anybody actually want to see a I'm sure they do it, chocolate pudding competition? I'm sure some people want to see Bill Cosby choke down a lot of chocolate pudding right now. But here's the deal. I do look forward to this. There is something exciting. It's kind of like when people were rooting for Tiger Woods for the first several years of his career, because it was such a storybook thing. Before we realized his real character and what a problematic jerk he could be, and before he had all these issues of driving into trees and things, right? And having physical ailments that curtailed his career, and mental ailments too. But in those first few years, he was very legitimately a golden boy of the sport. So Tiger Woods came on. It's like, oh my God, this is history. Even if he doesn't win today, his mass accumulation, his coming in second or third, not to mention first, so many times, is history just watching him. You have people like that. You have a Tiger Woods. Mets will point, at least this year, to like Jacob deGrom. He might turn into nobody for the rest of his career. But this year, it was kind of like when people were watching Dwight Gooden, in the first year or two or three with the Mets. And it was just this phenom and striking out batter after batter. And this was before all batters in baseball were just going for the long ball. So, of course, everybody's going to rack up more strikeouts because nobody's going for a bunt. Nobody's going for a single anymore. It's just all or nothing. Strike three. And if the guy's lucky, one time he'll strike out 5 times in a game, but hit 1 home run and be the hero. That's the sport right now. But Doc Gooden was doing this in the time when people were just trying to score off him anything, right? So it's, let's watch him. We're in the era now of Joey Chestnut. Joey Chestnut. A man who I believe now has won the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Championship 15 out of the last 16 years and set records with many, or if not most of them. So Joey Chestnut, man, still, even he said, he's been at his prime. And now it's going to start to go, he's getting older. He's done this a lot. It takes wear and tear on the body. He's not a 20-something anymore. It's like, okay, Joey, we're still getting him here. It's like Sinatra in early 80s, right? Or late 70s Sinatra, still here. Kind of going here, but still here. Right? So Joey Chestnut is there. And the previous year, a year that was meant for him, because it was the middle of the pandemic, Nathan's chose to have its annual hot dog eating contest and do it in a distanced way indoors, which gave all of them a little bit more of an edge because they could be inside, distanced way, not distracted by anything, and the conditions were nice because it was a nice, cool room. They weren't in 88-degree sunshine in the middle of Coney Island with barely any protection, schwitz pouring off them, and that taking away from their ability to do what they did. Right? So in those conditions, Joey Chestnut set a record last year of 75 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Take the dog, break it in the water, break in the water, And watching him in the first few minutes is extraordinary because he is on a pace of 100 hot dogs in 10 minutes. 10 dogs a minute. He doesn't maintain that pace. It's not, well, you know what? At the moment, it's not humanly possible. Perhaps in 20 years, there will be the next Joey Chestnut star who figures out that way to break that barrier and be as strong in the 9th minute as he or she is in the first. Okay. But Joey's back. Right? going for the win, no problem. Going for the record, because now things are back. The pandemic is quote unquote over-ish. Nathan's opens things up again. They do it outside. It's a warm day. So, he's got those conditions to deal with. He doesn't, and worse kind of, is that he doesn't have Matt Stoney, because Stoney is the closest he has to any real direct competition, unless there was some up-and-comer. Stoney couldn't make, I don't know why he wasn't part of the competition this year. So already it's kind of like, oh man, he's going to try and win. He'll win easily. Joey Chestnut will. But it won't even really be much of a horse race. He's just going against his past record of 75 dogs. Can he beat it? Can he at least match it even? And it was also kind of, as I said, disappointing earlier because Mickey Sudo, who is the undisputed woman champ, she just, her timing, terrible timing. She's probably 8.5, 9 months pregnant. And this would not perhaps be the best, unless her fetus really hungry. And the fetus kept saying, feed us. She decided to beg off. But instead, she still, this is amazing, she still shows up to the event because her husband is taking part. He's on the board, on the panel against Joey. So he's trying to win too. She's rooting him on, but she's standing out there in the hot sun going, go. And I'm like, you're seriously pregnant. Go. If you're not going to compete, go home. Watch on TV. And there, my friends, lies the rub. I don't know if you were watching this. I would gladly watch on my little computer if they carried it on YouTube or if the stream were anywhere, but no, had to go looking for the ESPN on our regular TV. It's the only time really I care that my family has cable where I'm living. So I find it, and I'm excited, right, and waiting for the contest to begin, and there it is. And Joey seems primed, and there's other cool guys. There's one guy who looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter, and one who looks like Hulk Hogan. And the introductions are almost as fun as anything else, because it's supposed to start at like noon, but really noon is just when they start bringing all the people out after the women's event. And people with ridiculous names and colorful costumes. It's like wrestling. It's part of the magic. And they have the announcer, I don't know his name, but he's been doing it for several years, and he's great. And he has the thing, apparently, I hope he doesn't have Parkinson's. I think he has that thing that Jill Sabule has, where he just you can see the microphone shaking in his hand. And it's not nerves, because the rest of him is fine. And it's probably a tremor, as opposed to anything more than that, because mentally and vocally, he's as magnificent as ever. He's wonderful. So, but he's doing his thing. And it's like, it is go time. 12:30 in the afternoon. It was last Sunday, Coney Island, Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Go! And they start going. And they're chowing down. And immediately, of course, he's taken the lead. I mean, in the first minute, everybody's chowing at almost the same pace. But by the second minute, you've already got him in like 15 dogs down, and the nearest one is 9 from one of the. So okay. Unless he has a heart attack on stage, Joey got this. He got this, and he does got this, and he gets it through minute 3 and 4, and he's on this insane pace. But of course, there is a point when the body and the jaws. They call him Joey the Jaws Chestnut. Yeah, I tell him twice, like and the bile and the things in your stomach is like, I can't, how much can you take? So it slows a bit. And now you're worried. Now it's like, he's going to win the competition. But 75 that's 7.5 hot dogs down your throat with buns every single minute for 10 minutes. Can he beat that? Even by a dog, can he do it? Right? So it's like, all right. And then you get to that 4 minutes have passed. And he's winning, and he's doing it, and he's got maybe 38 dogs down. He's going. And suddenly, ESPN cuts to, while this is going on, he's still in the corner of the screen. It cuts to an interview, I think with him or with Mickey Sudo from before. And and we get so much negative press about ESPN. I read our friend of the Daverhood's column, Phil Mushnick, in the New York Post. I should have him back on again if he'll come, because he writes about sports, but he writes about media coverage of sports, and it's usually really negative, and this is wrong, and that is wrong, and that. He's a negative Nelly, but that's what makes him interesting to read. And of course, he's always picking on ESPN for their coverage of everything, particularly baseball, and if they do football, because a lot of these stations are ruining these very simple, very beautiful sports. Okay, you tune into baseball to watch these bunch of guys on this beautiful green field with a little bit of earth, and they're competing, and you want to watch the game, and you want to get the sense of the game and the crowd and the air and the sky and the field and the uniforms, and bit by bit the Major League Baseball and the corrupt money from the TV stations and the cable stations has just been taking the game down. So the uniforms don't look like, the uniforms do anymore. You can't tell one team from the other because they're all wearing still like gang colors. And so remember when the San Diego Padres were brown and yellow like bumblebees? It was ridiculous, but I love the color brown. So I'm like, yay, go Padres, man! And when the Mets had a certain like orange and blue, and it was lovely, right? And there was and the Yankees, the pinstripes, very pinstripes, Yankees, black and white, boom, you knew it. And all the football teams' colors too. And then Nike got involved, and these other companies, and it's like, this is what we want gang kids wearing on the street. They'll pay $150 for a shirt, $300 for shoes if we do X, Y, and Z. So if you endorse it, instead of wearing your typical uniform colors, you're going to do white and black and gold, because that's what they like on the streets of LA. Well, yeah. So Phil Mushnick constantly complains about that, and about the taking of a very simple thing, a TV screen, where you're trying to watch an event and filling it with everything but the event. Not just the score, not just the inning, but the pitch count, the velocity, the curve, the thing, what's coming up next. I mean, there's almost no room, because they figure everybody's watching on giant screens now. But still, it's like, stop, just give me the game. Give me the event and the most basic information I need. Like top of the inning, bottom of the inning, who's up, which team is up, what's the score. That's it. And if you want to do the count, is it 0-2? Is it 3-1? Yes. Give me that. That's all we want. There's in-between times. There's tons of commercial time. Well, you can give me the other stats, and don't waste my time with ridiculous statistics and things like that. And I've complained about that. I can't believe people tolerate this. I cannot believe people tolerate sports now, where. And I don't know if it's just ESPN or they do it on the major networks, but when you have a batter in the batter's box in baseball, and the pitcher's throwing to him, and you're watching the batter bat, and it's up to the umpire to call a ball or a strike or hit by pitch. But no, that's not enough for the viewer. No, they do a rectangle a rectangle thing, drawn on digitally when the batter's up there to show the strike zone. And they don't just do this in the replay. In the replay, I understand if there's a close call or something, and the umpire called the pitch high and outside, but in the replay they can show, here's the strike box. It should have been. No, in live, when the pitch is being thrown, they've already got like a digital box up there. So instead of concentrating like, is he going to hit, is he going to swing, is he going to thing, it's going to be like, is it in the box or is it not? Nothing to do with the game. Nothing to do with baseball or enjoying the look and feel of baseball. And ESPN does this horribly. And they're like apparently the people who created it and foisted it upon the sports watching world. So ESPN is like the demon monster baby in the room, And they've had their problems financially. They fired bunches and bunches of people a few months ago, so they're operating skeletally as it is. But at the same time, people who still pay for cable television, whether it's Altice or any other company, they're paying for ESPN, whether they like it or not. You don't even get a damn sports package for it. It's kind of factored in to the $150, $200, $250 bill you pay every month to get cable. You don't even want ESPN. There it is. So well, all right, I'm coughing up $15 a month for this. At least do it right. And so ESPN, in the middle of the hot dog eating, I was getting back to it, in the middle of the hot dog eating competition, suddenly, like, Joey is off to the side. And now they're showing video of either him or Mickey Sudo interviewed like 3 weeks ago or interviewed the year before. And I was like, wait, why? What's the matter with them? Why are they doing this? I mean, I've got to kind of pivot my attention to watch Joey live, crunching down hot dogs, going for a record. But sometimes, you're bifurcated because, well, they're doing this interview with them. Why the hell? Why now? Because you're also trying to think, maybe at this particular moment they're cueing this because right here is no. What didn't realize is already they were having some issues in the truck or behind the scenes or in the studio or wherever the feed was coming from. Maybe they were worried, because within a minute later, the feed cut out. And all you saw was kind of digital static. Just pixels. And it just sat there on the screen. In the middle of this, imagine if this happened, at the Kentucky Derby, when they're broadcasting that. Imagine if this happened, during the Super Bowl for minutes at a time, losing the feed, cutting completely out. And I'm in the kitchen trying to watch this. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Are you kidding? First thing I do is blame the cable company, right? I blame their camera picking up. They probably hit something, or there's sunspots in the sky, or we've had storms all week. Well, it must be Cablevision's fault, right? So I'm like, oh, crap. And so this goes on for like 15, 20, 30 seconds that I am missing Joey Chestnut trying to make history. And then, they cut to a commercial. Because at least they can do that. At least they can say, well, I'm having worked in radio, having been a board operator, I know that when all else fails, you can't have dead air. You've got to do something. So if everything's going wrong, say you have the cart, we used to have cart machines, you hit that and you play a PSA, or you've got some kind of commercial thing ready. So if the live show's a cluster, just play something. And play the station ID over and over again until you figure out what's going wrong. So I'm sure ESPN was in that mode. And now we're about 6 minutes into the competition, and they come back. And then no acknowledgement, by the way, by the announcers, who may or may not have known the calamity that was going on in the field, in the truck, in the feeds. So they're just watching the competition. Joey has pulled out far ahead at this point, but he is on pace still to beat or match his record. So it's getting exciting. And now there's 3 minutes left out of the 10. And the feed cuts out again. And now it's more digital static. I'm like, no. Are you out of your minds, people? And then back to commercial. I wait all year for this, folks. This is an exciting thing for me. I once wanted to buy one of those Nathan's hot dog hats that people wear when they're out in the sun. It's a big foam hot dog with mustard on it and the bun and everything. I would buy that and wear that. As a matter of fact, I don't know if Stan Reisler is watching. Stan, who has done 2 absolutely extraordinary caricatures, I don't know what they're collages of me. One is Mr. Rogers, and one is a rather bemused and testicular, itchy David the statue. Stan, if you want to do something with the magnificent hot dog hat on my head, if you're watching and you feel like it, I would love to. And I know you could do something really horrible and wonderful at the same time, putting the hot dog somewhere else. Whatever you want to do. If you happen to be watching, if you happen to, I will post it if If Facebook won't stop me from doing it, or I can certainly put it on my website, davesgoneby.com. So anyway, I wait all year for this. And, and it's been a cruddy friggin' year for everybody. And for me, we've had family. I've lost 2 family members in a matter of weeks and stuff. They come back. And there's now like 2 minutes left in the competition. It's like, okay, at least we'll get to see the big finale. This is what really counts. And he's on pace. He's slowed down a lot from when he started. But he started real quick, so he's on pace. And the audience is cheering him on, right? And that's kind of the cool thing, because, I was worried, as I said, that because the conditions were not as idealized as the year before when it was air-conditioned and indoors, right? Now it's outside. It's, there's heat and schwitz and audience. No, he said the crowd screaming and getting into it and being out there, it was part of it. It gave him that impetus when he did slow down to go like, oh, I'm doing it for them. I'm ramping up. Let's get the jaws going more. So he did, right? And I'm starting to jump up and down because it's a race against time now. He's going to win. He's got 58 dogs down. Closest to him is 40-something from the next guy over. I don't even know who came in second this year. I'll check. But he's doing it. And will he make the record, Joey? And I'm watching, and it gets to about 1.5 minutes left. Static on the screen. More static, more commercials. By the time they come out of commercials, honest to God, Joey Chestnut has won the competition, unofficially. And he has unofficially broken his own world record, gobbling down 76 hot dogs. And I'm sitting there I'm standing there in the kitchen. My jaw dropped, even lower than Joey's going up and down eating the hot dog. My jaw is like, I can't believe out of the 10 minutes of this event, ESPN lost 3.5 or 4 of them. All of them in the last 5 minutes, including the ending, including the world record being broken. And I wanted to, I don't even know what I wanted to do. I had murder in my heart. And at this point, I still don't even know whether to blame ESPN or blame the cable company, but I'm like, this is unbelievable. And they had no problem, by the way, with their feed and all the lead up. I don't know if they carried the women's competition before, because normally I watched that, but we were out. Came back specifically to watch this, and but they had no issues at all in the half hour ramp up, the World Wrestling kind of thing. And then coming down the line now is 280-pound Mike Wilkins, and they call him so-and-so, and they make up funny things about them. So it's great to see, but it's not the friggin' event. This, no technical difficulties whatsoever. And there's tons of cameras also going on about, because, they got to get the person, they got to get him coming down the ramp, they got to get the next person ready. Now you've probably got 6 to 8 cameras covering the event and switching between them, no problem. Here, once the competition gets started, it's all one friggin' place except for the camera you show on the crowd, right? You don't have to do much. And you know that you've got to keep one camera on Joey. Duh. Right? And then 1 or 2 cameras for the other people who might be giving him some run for his money. And there you go. And yet there is where ESPN fell out. And I'm just like, oh my God. I want to write to ESPN and say, for the last month at least, you owe us $10. The one time I watch your stupid, useless network is the one time, you completely bollocks things. I don't want to say that I hope people were fired, because stuff happens, technical stuff happens, and the person that you think is to blame is maybe 10% to blame, and then somebody else is 20, and somebody else is 50, and then Because so you don't necessarily want to say, "Oh, you idiots, fire the team," but at the same time, "Oh, you idiots," right? And I even made the joke when I posted on Twitter. I said, I'm just amazed at ESPN when they were showing Mickey Sudo watching the event and watching her husband try to beat Joey Chestnut. Good luck. I'm surprised they didn't put a big old strike box square over her pregnant belly, because that ESPN seems to want to do that. So shame, for shame and sadness and despair was mine on this on last week's July 4th holiday, what I waited for all year long. I don't even know if because ESPN was carrying it, I don't know unless it was homemade video footage or people taking stuff on their cell phones, if there's footage of the event of Joey, all 10 minutes of him doing it, as there usually, you can watch a replay. I don't even know if that exists, because it wasn't caught, right? Unbelievable. What has made me feel just a little bit better is apparently they have come up. I don't know if it's Hasbro. I don't know if it's a small company or something. Because Joey doesn't make millions of dollars doing this, and he's the most famous, most known name since I forget his name, the Japanese guy, but he is the face. He is the icon of extreme eating, and for the women's side, Mickey Sudo. But he's not making millions. He's lucky if he makes six figures a year, putting his body through what he puts it through. I imagine it's much less, even now that he is the draw, really, on some level. It would be a draw anyway for Nathan's, because they've been doing it for 150 years. But he's the magnet for TV money and for interest now. So he's not making a ton of money. He has to go all year long. 2 weeks after that competition, he's at a baked bean eating competition. I'm not making that. He has to do this all year long with other foods, the poor bastard. Which is why there is a certain age level at which point you gotta stop punishing your body, right? And he knows this. After the fact, he was interviewed about it. And so he doesn't know how he's in that moment of, well, I don't know how much longer I can, right? Although this year he did. This year, where it was still peak Joey magnificence, technique, and just sheer genetic gift, let's call it. Gift from God of being able to wolf down impossible amounts of food and not die, right? But to commemorate this, he's not on a stamp yet, although that would be important. If they can make a stamp taste like a hot dog, which I guess they can, and it's a lickable old-fashioned stamp, there should be a Joey chestnut stamp, or it should actually taste like chestnuts. Nothing like that yet. And we don't see him like Mark Spitz on a box of Wheaties. They should really brand hot dogs after him, right? But it's got to be Nathan's. However, they have come out with a Joey Chestnut bobblehead doll, a commemorative Joey Chestnut bobblehead doll. It doesn't do anything. It's not like the cute little $5 things you get in the novelty store where you press down the sheep and poop comes out its back, or the donkey. No, it isn't the thing which would be amazing, a Joey bobblehead where you put plastic hot dogs in and the mouth is open. That would be incredible. No, this is just a Joey thing that goes, which his head kind of does. Wow, I'm dizzy now. But a Joey bobblehead doll, which has him on the platform with a hot dog count under him. Yeah, he's made it, folks. And at least he's going to be making some cool dough if that thing sells. Because he'll probably make a several $1,000s from allowing himself to be licensed in that way. And I hope so. He is the champion. He is the heroic jaws of life, my friends. So as much as I complain and feel rage about ESPN and their coverage of the Nathan's Hot Dogs Eating Championship. Let's not leave out this absolute marbling and the wonder, and he seems like a good, down-to-earth guy. He's not a Tiger Woods, right? He seems like a genuinely nice, normal city kid who just lucked into a really unusual talent. And so, all power, if I'm hoping somebody figures out how to cover it next year properly. If he does it again, will I go in person? If I want to go in person. But I'll be there for Joey. There's actually, I was talking about plays before. I wrote a play, a one-act comedy, for this same theater company, Red Bull Theater, years ago. It did not get, wasn't a finalist, wasn't in anything. I just said, well, thank you for submitting your play, but no. But I like the play quite a lot. And it's a short 10-minute play. It's on my website, davelefkowitz.org, all about a reporter covering Sisyphus. The guy who's pushing a rock up the hill. And he pushes it, gets almost to the top of the hill, and then he loses, and the rock tumbles down, and he's got to start all over again, and that's his eternity. It's kind of a torture punishment thing. So in my play, there's a reporter who writes about this every year for the newspaper, and his job is to cover poor Sisyphus, who's who in this Olympic thing of like, the crowds gather once a year he does this, and every year everybody hopes, and every year the rock just rolls. And of course it's a metaphor about life, and I really, really like the play. And I'm trying to think of the name of my own play, which was called, just go to davelefkowitz.org, you'll find it. It's the one about Sisyphus. Wow, how can I not remember the name of my own play? But anywho, it's kind of like that. Next year, ESPN, willing or not, I will try and be there, or maybe I'll be, in a distanced way in Coney Island with a hot dog hat on my head, right? Goggle-eyed, basically because I'm only 5'2", far away, not really seeing anything except the dandruffed head in front of me, but still, in spirit there, for Joey Chestnut, downing dog after dog after dog. So, boo on ESPN, but all hail King Joey Jaws. Well, that's me going off on the July 4th hot dog eating competition that happened, or at least we think it happened. Who knows what really went on when the TV cameras weren't working, but happened last week. What you're watching now, and the camera seems to be working, and the Zoom feed is going great, and the Facebook is going fine, which means you're watching the 806th episode of Dave's Gone by Conmigo. Dave Lefkowitz here, live on this Saturday. It is July 10th, 2021. So, oh my God, we still have some more stuff to do before we call it quits. We're here 9 a.m. until noon Eastern Time every Saturday, week after week. Sometimes we go a bit later than noon, obviously. Why don't we do a little bit of Greeley crimes and old times? I thought my wonderful wife Joyce would be here for this, but I think she had something to do. So I'm gonna, unfortunately, alas, alack, I do have one or two sound effects, so I'll try and make it happen without her. Wah, wah. We'll see how it goes. But this is a segment that we like to call Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Ladies and gentlemen, Greeley Crimes and Old Times, which is, I didn't even tell you, a combination of two different things that happen, or two different columns that appear in the Greeley, Colorado newspaper, the Greeley Tribune. Yes, and that we always show this. It never gets old. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the front page of an old issue of the Greeley Tribune. Yes. Yes, small town America, except it's actually a small city. But Greeley Tribune has two wonderful columns in it that are funny intentionally and based absolutely on truth and public record. One of them is called Cop Log, which gathers up the most ridiculous phone calls that come into the Greeley Police Department dispatch. And they're noted down. And then the paper has access to those records, and the folks at the newspaper, in this particular case, it's Morgan McKenzie, goes through them and picks out the funniest ones and puts them in the paper once a week. That's Cop Log. And then there's 100 Years Ago. Now, our friend of the Daverhood, Mike Peters, collates from 1921. 100 years ago in the newspaper, what was printed then and now looks kind of funny and ridiculous and nostalgic to our modern eyes. We mix them together here on Dave's Gone By in a segment that we call Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Ooh, a phone call has come to the police department. Let's see who it is. Is a caller on 22nd Street. Okay. A man sitting in the passenger seat, thank you for calling, of a car yelling at the air. This is the kind of thing that makes the newspapers. This is the kind of thing that police, we got people, thank goodness, not really anymore, saying defund the police. No, retrain the police. Don't defund the police. So and the police are this and that. Police have to deal with this stuff as well as the truly scary stuff and everything else. So, yep, they get a phone call. Somebody's in the seat of a car yelling at the air. Imagine they could have also been on the telephone, the way they do it these days. Moving on. A woman on 4th Street called. Hello, 4th Street. Yeah, sure. She asked if she could get help removing kittens from the golf course. Because this is what cops really need to be. Actually, it's kind of, if it were a small town and it was Mayberry RFD, that would be a nice thing to call Barney Fife to do. But still. A caller on 7th Street reported a drunken man outside punching a trash can. Not the noise I was going for, but yes, punching a trash can. Why? I garbage in, garbage out, I guess. And then a woman on Eklund Way called to report her neighbor yelling. Now, this woman is reporting that her neighbor is yelling this, quote, "I hate my neighbors and wish they were dead," unquote. Yeah, who are the people in your neighborhood? The angry, yelling, screaming shrew is screaming right ahead at you. If you had better call the cops if you ever want to make them stop. Oh, these are the people in your neighborhood. Okay. This is important. We have a popcorn alert. Popcorn! We do this because James Brown has become something of a motif on the show, or was a couple of months ago. We have a popcorn alert. A man at a business on 35th Avenue in Greeley called to report another man carrying a big popcorn bin who was panhandling popcorn in the area. The caller said the man went inside to use the restroom and then threatened to fight him. Man, these popcorn wars. First of all, I thought panhandling was the opposite. I always thought panhandling was the person begging for money, taking money from other people. I guess in this particular case, he had an actual pan full of popcorn and was trying to sell it, goes to use the bathroom, and then threatens to fight the guy. Popcorn! Ugh! I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Just open up the door. Do it myself. Ha! And that is my James Brown impression for the morning. A man on 6th Street called to turn himself in. He said he had been feeding stray cats, and that caused a lot of stray cats in the area. Take him to Rikers. He's like, take me, I am responsible. These are funnier when Joyce does the sound effects. All right, let's try some old-time things. These are things that happened 100 years ago. in Greeley, Colorado. They were published in the paper. At that point, it was called the Greeley Tribune Republican, and later was just shortened to the Greeley Tribune. So Mike Peters goes through and finds things in the paper back in 1921. In order to contain the high number of fires in town, the Kersey Town Board voted to start a volunteer fire department. Volunteers stepped forward, but they have no firefighting equipment. That's quite, sort of like, yeah, let's start a ski club. How many people? What is the? Yeah, okay, you, Josh, Jeremy, yeah, Leonardo, good. Oh, good God, we got like 8 people. Anybody know where we can get some skis? We're in Bermuda. Is there a place with snow already? Like, come on. City Court was busy this week with several cases. Oh, I have my gavel. Look at this. Let me pound this. Court is in session. Court was busy with several cases, including a local florist who was fined $5 for pasturing his... Oh my God. Okay. All right. I have to deal with this. We'll do 1 or 2 more of these. Do you want to mention it on the thing or no? No. All right. Told you it was a year. Including a local florist who was fined $5 for pasturing his goat in a downtown parking lot. Another resident was fined $5 for sprinkling his lawn at the wrong time. A boy who was charged with riding his bicycle on the city sidewalks was issued a warning by the court. The only time bicycles can be ridden on city sidewalks is when children are delivering newspapers. So this kind of tells you what Greeley was like 100 years ago. You got sprinkling the lawn, $5 fine, pasturing your goat downtown, don't be doing that, and at least riding the bike was just a warning from the city. Let's go elsewhere for 1 item, and then we'll wrap up this. Because what we do in Greeley Crimes and Old Times is that everything is from Greeley or northern Colorado, but we try and do 1 story from elsewhere, 1 story that is far, far away from Greeley and from Colorado. So Dateline, Limavady, Ireland. Limavady, Ireland. This happened recently, maybe a week or 2 ago. A judge has described as bizarre an explanation put forward by a convicted drug dealer. He said a bag containing cocaine that was found between his buttocks was put there by someone else without his knowledge. Declan Butcher, age 31, from Glenmill Park in Limavady, appeared before a Derry magistrate and was charged with breaching, appropriate word, breaching bail for possessing drugs. A police constable told the judge that after a disturbance at a pub, Butcher ran. Police gave chase, I don't know how fast he could have run, and they found him hiding in a toilet inside the bar. And yet, somehow, drugs, cocaine was found between his buttocks, and he has no idea how it got there. Well, poops do go better with coke. I know that. Anywho, let's do 1 or 2 more crimes and or old times, and then we'll call it a segment. Let's get back to some criminality, I think. Here we go. A caller on 10th Street, hello caller, requested someone from the nation's government, Illuminati, to get him from the police department. Okay. I don't know how they wrote this out, but someone from the Illuminati would get him. Oh, I think he was worried that it would come and get him from the police department. Okay. Yeah, because the Illuminati do that, and they're not too busy. They've had a lot of free time during the pandemic. And one more. A caller on 6th Street said she received papers that smelled weird. She thinks something was on them, and that she got a meth high from smelling them. Okay, ma'am, that's not meth, that's toilet paper. You don't want to know what you smelled. Ladies and gentlemen, that was on Dave's Gone By, Greeley Crimes and Old Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that
Mr. Greeley want no more. Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Oh, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz. It's 12:30 in the afternoon. We're live on this Saturday morning, July 10th, 2021, our 806th episode of the show, where we're super thankful. We've had just terrific guests today on the program, so gotta be thankful for them. We call them Friends of the Daverhood. These are people who have been on the show. They're our friends. For example, Jose Rivera. What a delightful guest. What a terrific fellow to talk to. So please, 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 you're going to want to watch the piece that he did on Showtime, and I'm blanking on it at the moment. I don't have a note on that, but check his IMDb for Showtime and watch that, and of course, watch him on Monday night for the Play Festival, Red Bull Theater Company's short new play festival. My Play Restoration Playhouse will be up there. So will his short play called Lunar, and both of them you can see just by reserving at redbulltheater.com. Again, tickets, you can either pay nothing, you can absolutely get a free ticket, but if you want to donate, that's even better. redbulltheater.com. Thank you to Jose Rivera for being part of this. Thank you also so much to the delightful Vicki Quade, who is now back live and in person performing at the Greenhouse in Chicago. She is doing Late Night Catechism, and then only a couple of months away from the special Halloween edition of Catechism and the Halloween edition of Bingo, and then Christmas Bingo. Just check out Vicki Quade, Quade. And boy, oh boy, she didn't win today's game, but she came real close. And thank you to Stuart Zagnit. And you're going to, of course, want to see him. Stuart is going to be in the revival of Caroline or Change on Broadway. It's a roundabout production at Studio 54 that will start previews in early September and then open in October, I believe, for an open run. So it's Caroline or Change. It's a major musical written by Tony Kushner and Janine Tesori. It's a good piece of work. And who knows, the revival may be as good as the original. Caroline or Change on Broadway featuring Stuart Zagnit, just a few weeks away. So, those are today's Friends of the Daverhood, along with Rabbi Sal Solomon, the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches. Remember that his website is shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T. Shalomdammit.com. That is where you can hear and see his previous interviews on this program. They're at davesgoneby.com also. But he's got his own website. His rabbinical reflections are there. His episodes of the TV show he did on Long Island Cable are there. Plus his one-man show, Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Sal Solomon. The entire show, when it was recorded at the Richmond Shepherd Theater 8.5 years ago, or 9 years ago now. Wow. That's there. Watch it. It's hilarious. If you're a producer, realize how friggin' hilarious it is, and let's produce it again and get it back up. Anyway, shalomdammit.com for Rabbi Sal. Now, those are today's Friends of the Daverhood. Let's have some friends of...
Hello?
What was that? Okay. God, I hate this new iTunes. Quick shout out to people who have been on the Daverhood, in the past. And those include Alice Ripley, who today is at the Green Room 42. It's a cabaret club in New York. Alice Ripley. And then tomorrow through the 15th, Tanya Pinkins, our friend, will be directing our other friend, Robert Cuccioli, in a digital online reading for a play called No One Cries for the Blacksmith. And it's being done on Theater Resources Unlimited, TRU. Go find it. Tomorrow, Cliff Eberhardt will be doing the Backyard House Concert in Patchogue. Go to Cliff Eberhardt, H-A-R-D-T, cliffeberhardt.net. And then also tomorrow, Andre DeShields, congratulations. He is receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award from Theater World. It's the Theater World 75th Annual Award Ceremony. So congratulations to Andre. Playing now through tomorrow only, one act plays Something Unspoken and The Hairdresser online, both featuring our friend Penny Fuller. And then after the plays, Louise Lasser and Valerie Smaldone, both of them friends of the Daverhood, will be doing a Q&A. Foodforthoughtproductions.com. Jamie DeRoy and friends. Jamie DeRoy been doing monthly cabaret things for years and years and years, but she also has a public access TV show. Now, Jamie DeRoy is a major producer. She produces on and off Broadway, but she has a special place in her heart for cabaret and has for all these years. So she devotes this half-hour show that she does on public access. It's called Jamie DeRoy and Friends, and they're doing an archival episode with footage of things taped at the Metropolitan Room with lots of cabaret and Broadway people. Among them, our friend Karen Ziemba, and that is going to be happening on Monday the 12th, where you can watch that on cable, Fios 37, and Spectrum, channel 1993. On July 14th, which I believe is Wednesday, Steve Ross and Karen Akers at Pangea. Wow, what a lineup. A bunch of people kind of reopening Pangea, Steve Ross and Karen Akers among them. Also on the 14th, singer-songwriter David Broza is going to be at City Winery. On the 15th, on Thursday, Stevie GB, the comedian, and others are going to be at Governor's McGuire's in Bohemia, Long Island. That starts at 8 o'clock in the evening. Now, through the end of the week, Michael Gotch's play Tiny House is at Westport Country Playhouse online. It's a virtual production. If you read, although David Stewart wasn't with us today, he's taking a vacation, he wrote a review of Tiny House, and it's very, very positive, speaking of critics. So go see it online, Westport Country Playhouse, Tiny House. And playing now through the end of the month, Todd Robbins's Haunt Quest. Ooh, at the Soho Playhouse, Todd Robbins doing Haunt. And Todd Robbins, he's the guy who he came out of, speaking of Coney Island, of the Carney thing, of putting nails through his nose and eating light bulbs and things. That's Todd Robbins. Make sure you see him in Haunt Quest at Soho Playhouse downtown. And playing now, reopening after all these months, Jim Caruso's cast party at Birdland. Go to birdlandjazz.com. That is every Monday night. Shout out to Bob Cudmore, who does podcasts of upstate New York history at bobcudmore.com, Cudmore. Shout out to my good friend Evan Seplow, whose website, stagebuddy.com, tells you everything that's happening in New York nightlife. And yes, there is now stuff to tell you about New York nightlife. And finally, let's see, who else? Dr. Demento, doing Dr. Demento shows, old and new, the archives at drdemento.com. Those are the friends of the Daverhood. Thank you, Haydn. And we're not hiding from you. We're going to be ending this episode of the program, our 806th episode of Dave's Gone By. We've been live on this Saturday, July 10th, 2021. We did not get to our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. I think we're going to table that till next time because we're kind of running overtime. But next week, assumedly, we're planning on it, next Saturday, July 17th, we should be here for our 807th episode of the show. I don't know who the guests are going to be. I'm hoping Leslie will be back to play the yesterday game. I'm not sure I think David's going week by week over the summer because he's going to be out of town and having fun with his mom. So whatever he's doing, wishing him well, wishing all our friends of the Daverhood well, and wishing you well too. So, thank you all for tuning in to Dave's Gone By on this Saturday. We hope to see you 7 days from now. If you want to write to me, davesgoneby at AOL.com. Daves, DAVES, GONEBY, Dave's Gone By at AOL.com. Check my Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. And of course, keep posting or watching us on Facebook, telling people to find the Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. Check the website, davesgoneby.com, for all our archives. Check check archive.org for our archives as well, and castbox.fm for our audio archives. And watch excerpts of our archives Mondays at 1 and Tuesdays at 4 a.m., that is, on Channel 20 of Altice. ESPN has nothing to do with it. Check our YouTube channel, Dave's Gone By. Most importantly, read my work, my plays, my writings, davelefkowitz.org, and I hope you can all make it this Monday night, July 12th, 7:30 in the evening Eastern Time, when my little comedy, Restoration Playhouse, is part of the Red Bull Theater Company Short New Play Festival. Jose Rivera, who is on the show today, the Jose of Jose Can You See, he'll have a play in there. Connie Congdon, who was on here 3 weeks ago, she's got a play in there. They're going to be wonderful. You can watch for free, but you have to reserve tickets. Red Bull Theater, theater.com. And there's a link to it on my homepage, davesgoneby.com, as well. So do see it. If you can't make it live Monday night, remember they will also have a stream that you can reserve for from after it's over, and they've saved it through the 16th of July, but then it goes away. By the time I'm back next week, it will be like theater. It's evanescent. It's here while it's happening, and then it's gone. And gone by.
Days gone by, days gone